VWAP because USO weak or energy weak, market strong. That theme has not changed yet. Oh, and before we throw to the midday, maybe Sharif will be on this one because Sidhu. Oh, I thought. Oh, you're going to say Sidhu. Sid has hit 550. Sid has hit $5.50. So that one's still going.
Bye, Obi, unfortunately.
I know people in the chat were mentioning it was like, why aren't you guys talking about Sidhu? There was a lot of things running today. You're never going to be able to talk about and see every single move. But we'll throw you guys over to Joey Options and Sharif. We'll grab some jerk chicken and we'll see you at 2.
Chicken.
Bro.
Yeah.
The jerk chicken, Rio Republica. If you've been, you know. Boom! Greetings, salutations, beautiful people. I know that one day it's not going to end well. Welcome to the Midday Show. That's your boy, Joey Options. I'm Sharif. Yes, Benton, COYG. Are we playing today or tomorrow, Benton? Because I don't even want to watch. I got to tell you the truth. I don't even want to watch. Shout out to MF Dangerous, Noah. We got Gorev. We got Bryson. Shout out to Judy Hardy. I'm trading Rick. Yes, I like that. Very clear. He is Rick and he is trading. Pax. Taylor. We got Atnerd. Michael P. D. Ryder. Ethan Broussard. Club 699. Trader 604. Shout out to Alan Blomauner. I killed that. I'm sorry. Super, double no, triple no, yes, no bag trader. Shout out to Dino Vincenre. Probably butchered that one too. The Real Dangerous. Backbone Video. Angry Rob Entertainment. Waving right back at you, buddy. Shout out to John Luca. We got Durant Gordon. We're playing tomorrow. Shout out to my man Benton. HP Motorcars, Frank Trades. Come on, if you're new, throw your name in the chat, man. I want to see some new names. We got Steer Raj, Mr. Janky Stock, Tilster, Dean Allen, Randy Worms. We got Holly from New York City, Eclectic Frickin' Passions, just hitting all sorts of keys. Sorry, brother. Streamlabs blocked that one. We got Roulette. We got Tesla to 2,500. Love that. Jason Parrott. One more. DLV Sound. Good morning, Joey.
All right, good morning, everyone. A couple more shout-outs. Roof Ninja saying long BTC off a previous high of the day. Okay, that's a different story. All right, I like that. That's not too bad of a play. What's going on, everyone? We'll give a couple shout-outs to TikTok here, Sharif. Moonwar, Amir, Bravely, oh, that's Bravely, our guy. Sabrina, Sadie, Randy. We got a couple more here. Glenn Cortez, Dog, Gazzy. OK2 Ace, I am same, IKA more, I am same apparently. All right, probably butchered that one. Lucky, DJ Vinny, Carlitos, Carlito Caribbean, cool man. Jr.? That's not cool, man. Gabriel, who else do we got? Esquiro, oh, okay, I'm not gonna say that one. Heathers, Travis, El Picante, a little spicy he is, and Jeffrey Monez. What's going on, T-Rock? I hope everyone's having a fantastic day. Don't do it yet, Assassino. But other than that, I hope everyone's having a fantastic session, as typically and as usual. But all right, cue the screen. Let's hit it now. One and done, guys. That's it here on TSLL. Man, one of these have been been waiting for this for quite some time here, guys. So let's break it down a little bit here. Got the upgrade by UBS. You're starting to break that channel, even though you're still in the midst of it. Essentially, we go long off of here, pop, we take some off, and then we get stopped at about 30–40% right here. No problem. We just re-engaged like we were supposed to. No hesitation, nation, on that one there, Katina. And then off to the races we go, as we're still currently hitting on to, holding on to approximately like 10% of this position. Nothing substantial. You have TSL up 5.5% here today, so not too bad of a look. Maybe we can get some form of a continuation in trend. Now, moving forward, let's see what the names we have on our radar. No small caps for me so far, I should say. SPY, TQQs, Tesla, NVDA, and IBIT. We are talking about a potential condor play with the bull put spread being the better of the legs. And sure enough, we are slowly starting to break out of this consolidation. You pop through that resistance zone high, climb up to 43.19. And then off to the races it goes. It's starting to pull back a little bit here, guys, but we're still down 40% off of those highs. We'll take it a couple percentage points here and there as the market is starting to climb higher and higher. And we're not too far off of those all-time highs. We've been talking about this for quite some time. I said by the middle of summer, hopefully this isn't a false all-time high, but I don't think that's necessarily going to be the case, especially considering we're rolling into the earnings season. So that's what we got going on. Don't have to take on too many more trades today. One and done is my style of trading. Let's see if we can find a couple more opportunities. We'll go extremely, extremely small size, just play with a little bit of our realized, and that's about it. We're not going to give back too much because we want to lock this in and start a potential solid streak. That is my narrative. Went to the golf range yesterday
for the
first time. Yeah, I just needed to, you know what, man, there's no other types of there's no other types of ranges in the city, if you catch my drift.
Yes, okay.
You don't.
I don't.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Yeah.
There's none in the city. You got to go.
Sir, you got to go outside. You got to go outside.
I know there is in York region.
In Stouffville.
Okay.
There's one in
that's
Stouffville.
York region.
Yeah. And then also in Hamilton. Aside from that, guys.
I didn't know there was none in the city.
Yeah, man. There used to be, but then it's like private. And stuff like all that.
Okay.
But anyways, aside from that, guys.
See what we just got?
Yeah.
I'm
about to read that one.
It's not even for us, but we got to read it.
Yeah, William West, $50.
And it's for Showing My Love with Sean. Made $1,100 since Thursday last week. Large capital letters. Thank you for everyone's hard work for us. No, thank you for dropping 50 big ones. William West, double five.
Yeah.
6-5.
Yeah.
All love right back at you, man. That's some.
Yeah, that's a thing. Yeah, thank you very much.
He's sending his love to the Katina man there.
For that. Let me finish my quick spiel here. Sharif, we were talking about multiple things. There you go. You got the Stone Cold. We haven't hit that one, I feel like, all week, even though it is only Tuesday. Maybe we hit it a couple times yesterday.
God.
What's that?
Bloom Energy, bro.
Bloom. Yeah, I mean, Bloom is booming. All right, guys, let's see what we got going on here from the options chain. I mean, here it is, that 190 strike price that we were talking about this morning that had 99,000 contracts, now up to 103, okay? And they're worth triple the amount that essentially, or double the amount that we were talking about this morning. And then we have some size at 195, starting to slowly grind higher, but let's see how we react around that supply zone. I wouldn't be surprised if we get a little bit of a pullback. It was the same narrative here in IBIT as it's starting to come back in a little bit as well too, off of that 40-something dollar mark, 41 and a bit, and we have a little bit of size here at that specific level, 42 now under the water, that $43 mark, 70,000 contracts. Let's see how we react, man.
ARAI is breaking out, guys. Something's going on. This one was a mover yesterday. Into the $1.10 it goes. It's taken out all the levels from yesterday. The high yesterday, I believe, was $1 right on the dot. Let's see if this one pulls back. It's trading right into the highs. Let me load up my risk calculator for this and then go ahead and enter my parameters here. So 111 high. This one's stair-stepping up. It's getting a breakout with about 4.25 million shares. And I got to say, most of the shares printed either at the open at 9:30 or just started coming in recently. I want to say 10:55, 10:50. Right now, it's all gas, no brakes. Yeah, let's watch here. I mean, I just don't want to punch in at the high. 111. Now it's showing 109. Okay, interesting look here. Shout out to my man, Don Sharifo. Mimi, he's talking about Mimi. I was involved. I gave this one way, way too tight of a stop. I got involved at 60 and 3/4 pennies, and I gave it to 58.5. So we lost very little on it. And what I was looking for was a prior bar hold. We didn't get the prior bar hold. So we're still putting in lower highs. I see that it's bouncing a little bit. I want Mimi to set up a bit better. But right now, ARAI is all gas, no brakes, guys. So if we were to give this, just for example, down to 104, so we don't give it to the dollar, well then, okay, we can kind of give that a try. It's just, I hate punching in at highs. It's just not my style. But this one looks like it's on its horse here. Could be on the way to $1.25. You know, you get into that 114, you're likely, there's 115 now. So ARAI really going. I wasn't ready for this. I don't even have it on my side chart. No, I'm not going to punch in FOMO into this one. I'm going to insist that it pull back. And there it goes, making another intraday high, 16s, going on 17 here. I don't mean the Sound of Music. You ever watch that? Sound of Music?
No, but I heard, I watched
on
it.
16, going on 17. Adair is singing up a storm back there.
I watched The Shape of Water. Have you ever watched that?
No. Where did that come from? I'm asking you what the sound of music,
bro.
There's no way you can connect those two things. As someone who's familiar with both, you could not make an argument they're the same thing.
The shape of water. I don't know, man.
Yeah, see, you upset her now, bro.
Yeah,
see, that's the thing.
Yeah,
You gotta be like, God, come on now, bro. All right, here we go. Here we go. All right, guys, we're having a good time already. Guys, ARAI pulling back a little bit here. Could be a bit of a micro pullback. Let's flip to the 5 second. You're gonna get trolled now,
I'm
huh?
not, man. Dewey knows what it is. Joe's thinking outside the box.
Oh, is that how it is? That's what we're calling it now?
Speaking of Dewey,
go.
Remember Malcolm in the Middle?
Of course.
Refused to be a part of the new show. So
why?
Dewey, I don't know. He didn't want to be a part of it. So
Are they doing something that he doesn't like?
I don't know. How would I don't know, man.
The actor's an academic now, so he's just like done with acting. He's just busy with work.
There you go.
But I've seen actors become academics. Mayim Bialik, isn't she like a neuroscientist or whatever, right?
That's crazy.
The culture's too toxic, says Fabian. I have no idea. I'm not in showbiz, Fabe. Yeah, well, okay, yeah, I feel that. By the way, a whole bunch of Hollywood actors wrote a note yesterday protesting the Paramount, Skydance, Warner Brothers merger. So something to look out for there. All right, guys, let's bring in the side charts because I've said very little about the small caps that I'm watching. There's a lot. Some of them are quantum related, as you can probably guess. The quantum names are moving. You're going to see IONX and QBTX on the bottom of your screen. XNDU, another quantum name as well, not one that I'm very familiar with. But these leveraged ETFs, and the reason I keep them on there is sometimes they trade similarly to small cap gappers where they're just momentum trades. So we trade them like that. I don't trade them exactly like small cap gappers, but close enough. So QBTX, IONX, these are leveraged ETFs for QBTC and IONQ. We're going to keep those on the side chart. And then the one without a label here in the middle top of your screen is ARAI. As I mentioned already, this is a holdover from yesterday. It had trouble breaking through the dollar. As you could see, the best it did on the day, I believe, was around 1 o'clock when it got to 999, and then it couldn't breach that. Now, the dollar is in the rear frickin' view. And here we are again into the high of the day. We're going to go ahead and take a shot here, Joey, even though we're getting into the high of the day, and it's just not my nature to punch in at the high of the day. But you know what? This broke prior bar high. I'm giving it to current bar low. That means I give it to 108 because current bar low is 109. We don't keep our stop right at the low price. So let's see if this one wants to mosey on up into $1.25 or lose the trend. There's 118. I don't expect a clearing through 120 that easily, but we're going to go ahead and post a very small order at 120 as a liquidity tester. Into 19 it goes, showing that it's taking out some orders here at 19. We're looking for 20. I'm anticipating resistance, and I'm going to give it to current bar low on the 5. Separately, I'm keeping a close eye here on Mimi, but Mimi's got 1, 2, 3 lower highs in a row. There goes ARAI into 20. It doesn't cross, so we don't get the print. I've got a bias that we move into the $0.25, so we're going to keep that bias and see what comes of it. But back to Mimi. Mimi has several lower highs in a row on the 5. If we break that trend, I think I'm going to work my way in. Ideally, we get in above 65. I think that would help. And there goes ARAI into another area high. Into 22 goes. 23 goes, Katina Man. All right, here, can we get a little bit more? We're looking for 25, right? That's what the bias was. The bias was that this was going to hit the $0.25. Let's see if that comes, or we're going to have to get maybe stopped out here. We're in at 17, Joey. We're showing 23. What do you got?
All right, man. We got SNAL up here, not really moving like a snail at this point, Sharif, as it's continuing to climb at rapid speeds, essentially. So a nice breakout right out of the gate, and then you climb up to $1.65. So that's a big return right there from 80 cents all the way up to $1.60 plus, and then looking like it wants to continue. PMNT. Not too much, and I have this high roller. It had high roller in it, and I'm like, oh, man, Excuse me, we have to take a look at this one, but not really doing too much. I'm not going to go over Mimi anymore because Sharif has been, he's all over that. And then we have also, what is this? Keel Street over here. Keel Infrastructure Corp. Bang, bang, 279. Not too bad of a look there. There you go on Mimi. Our Aria.
There goes ARAI to Ari. ARAI?
ARAI.
ARAI?
ARAI.
There's a $0.25, guys, okay? It's 27s. Watch out now for the reversion, okay? I'm not saying it's going to lose trend, break current bar low. Sorry to interrupt you, Joey, but it was breaking up.
Yeah,
but keep your eye out on this one. We could have resistance aggressively at the $0.25. Watch out for the turnaround here. Maybe we'll get a straight move into a third, but let me tell you something. We drop into 17, I stop out. We're not going to let this trade go against us. So keep that in mind, that you're likely going to encounter a little resistance here at the $0.25. Sorry to interrupt.
All right, good. Really sucks if you guys had. Oh yeah, I know you better be joking, man. That might be one of our better segments, more popular ones. There, you can't talk smack about the what's for lunch.
Ooh, who's talking smack about what's
he's
for
only
lunch?
He's only joking, man. It's our guy Buddhist priest.
Oh, that's the individual that was upset that I was saying about the college try. Apparently, it ruins his day. Sensitive guy.
Oh, okay. All right. I mean, hey, man. Maybe you got to go hit some golf balls or something like that. He cheer you up a little bit. I know that's what worked for me. A little therapeutic, just down the road from the place. That was a good time.
Did you play well?
No, I suck at golf. This was my first time. It was my
I
second.
live across a golf course.
That was like my second time ever swinging a club. I hit a couple good balls, but other than that, man, the form and everything, I was watching YouTube videos on the way and everything. Aside from that, let's get right back into these market, guys, and see what we got going on. There's going to be plenty of names that we can go over. Lots of stuff on the options chain. Let's head back over to our stock screener. We've seen RGTI up there. What has that garbage been up to? It doesn't even really matter because NVDA is still holding up around that 190 mark, above it to 193.13. Buildout, this is a massive dividend play. So I don't know if it's necessarily an intraday trader. I know a couple of individuals who are involved with it. The divvy on this is absolutely insane, but it's lost a lot of its value. Then you have Bitcoin, obviously, with 35.6 million shares. IONQ, the quantum space, is definitely on fire today. And Robinhood, back to 78 smackers. Let's go. Get that back up to 80 bucks in our Robinhood. We like that one. Clean Spark, how have you been performing? I mean, you can almost throw a dart at the board and find a good potential long here. I know AMD hasn't been as strong, but you guessed it. Google is absolutely monstrous. Finally break. Nice, Gaurav. This is what you're going off of, that 248.52 mark. That's prime time as you're going to head towards some pre-market highs. That's exactly what you want from that one. And then I've seen AAL pretty strong in the pre-market, but I wouldn't be surprised if that fades. Yeah, it didn't do much. Fades out of the open. It did recover, but didn't do too much after that. But Google, absolutely monstrous on today's session. Let's take a look at it from a daily and see what we got going on with goggles up to 329. How far off the ATH are we? Not much at all. I'm going to give it about 5% or so. Yeah, 5.6. So, I mean, 348. 329, absolute monstrous bounce off that 273, gives you 50 points almost just like that. That's a 20% return in the span of a couple of days. This is what I'm talking about, a full recovery. We don't even have a conclusion to the conflict in the Middle East, and we're almost there. Oh, okay, thanks, TikTok. Oh, man, thanks for the super chat. You guys rock, says Reds. I appreciate it. No, you rock. I hope you listen to rock and roll as we ramble on. All right, FXI, man. We'll take a look at FXI. I know my boy Mike Peter Ryder likes that song. Led Zeppelin. I was going to ask you who sang that one, Tree, but that's okay. I already answered it. Led Zeppelin. And then we have new holdings, not doing too much, guys. Just rolling through the scanner to see if we have anything potentially. Let's see what we got going on with TikTok. Please check Mimi stock. I'll leave that up to Sharif. I'll pull it up right now because he's probably got his eyes on it.
Yeah, absolutely. I got to call out a couple of names here. C-Cup just pulled into VWAP, and I'm looking for a scalp trade here, so I'm risking very little to the breach of, I want to say, around the $0.50. Let's see if it holds up. But I just saw this one coming up on the scanner, and there it goes. It's in a halt. SNAL is rocketing up. It is halted at $1.63. I didn't even have this up on my side chart. I don't know how I didn't have eyes on this. What the hell is going on? But anyway, it's approaching the day high, which is $1.66 that we printed on the 540 candle. We are now halted up at $1.63. Let's go ahead and find out what the theoretical auction price on this monster is. We're going to pull it up over here, SNAL, on the NQ, that is. Okay. Oh, baby. So we're showing $1.65. That's marginally lower than the day high, which is, as I mentioned, 66. Halt time, 11:15:46. Earliest will be open. It's 11:19:28. So the earliest will be open is 11:20:46. These come in waves of 5 minutes. So SNAL Halted to the upside, definitely looking good. And if I can just show you here on the black charts, a lot of respect, at least after the bell, that is, for the 10 EMA on the 5. You can kind of see that 1, 2, 3, let's just call it 5 candle pullback, even though it's kind of littered with a green candle in the middle there. Let's just say it was a 5 candle red pullback. Lo and behold, look how it holds so clean on the 10 EMA. Does it again. Makes that high day into 166, comes back into the third of a dollar. Most notably, holds that prior area resistance at the third at 130 and kind of holds a 10 EMA on a closing basis. So this one, I don't know if Luis is in the chat. My man Luis.
Oh, he just tagged me, man. He's saying it's a bid non-compliant.
Okay, that's what I want to hear, man.
500 million news, all checks marks for long.
Which one is he talking about?
I believe Mimi.
Mimi. It is bid not compliant. I agree. I got stopped out of that. But in any event, I'm going to keep my eye on Mimi. If it loses trend, we could look over to Neil, see how much shorts would cost us. But for now, it's above VWAP, so I'm going to focus on it as a long. But what I'm looking for here, there goes SNAL. It is taking out levels, guys. A new high a day on SNAL, $1.80. Halt level, don't forget, is $1.63. We could come back in and test that halt level. Let's give this one the old college try at this level. We're going to go 162 for a stop out. We're going to Adara. Oh, stopped out already.
Keep an eye on oil and also the market, one pushing lower, the other pushing higher, as New York Post reports that President Trump told the publication that Iran talks could be happening over the next few days in Pakistan. So again, President Trump reportedly telling New York Post, hey, we could have more talks with Iran in Pakistan in 2 days. Now, keep in mind, last talks with Iran and Pakistan happened on Saturday, so like 3 days ago. But anyways, we do get a push higher here in the market to new days highs and a bit of a spike lower in oil as President Trump hints that these talks could be sooner than we maybe thought. Back to you.
Thank you for that, Adara. All right, keeping an eye here on C-Cup. Let's go. We're going bouncing off VWAP here. This is a strict VWAP bounce, Assassino. I'm not really looking for a breakout. This was coming into the volume weighted average price. I said, you know, this is as good a shot as I'm going to get on a pullback. And we took not huge size or anything like that, but we're going to definitely keep it. What's that? What's that? Luis, no Mimi. SNAL is bad price, non-compliant. Love it. Longer, clear historical volume is 500 million shares. Luis Barbado giving us the goods. Fantastic trader, fantastic guy. We're blessed to have Luis in the chat with us, guys, and giving us this information. So if you guys are not tagging Luis and speaking to him about small caps, I don't know what you're doing. In case you don't know what his name is, it's this one right here, Assassino. Let's show him. This one right here, A-Day Trading, is a bid price, non-compliant, long, clear, historical volume. A-Day Trading, right beside, or right below, I should say, Joseph's comment to Lemon Family there. So I want to shout out Luis Barbado. Always love having him around, man.
Yeah, as always. Apparently, SNAL halted down there, my boy.
It is halted down,
it's
man.
halted down.
We got out of it right before it halted down.
That's good. That's good. 185 to 155. That one cut the cord on that one quick. And then PMNT, Sharif, have you been looking at PMNT? It's not doing anything. I mean, the downtrend is still fully intact here. So you want to avoid that one, especially if you're looking for the long. There's Mimi starting to pull back in. And then there's also a couple of them. Hoth. Anyways, Roller, not doing any much. There's a nice curl over right here. But you know what I'm noticing is that when these things are relatively weak and they're below the volume weighted average price, they're not as strong.
When these things are relatively weak.
Yeah, and they're below, start strong, but then for an extended period of time, they're below VWAP. They don't typically recover that well, right?
Man.
My man, yeah.
You're noticing what it took me 3 years, you're noticing in 3 days.
Yeah, well, I don't know about 3 days, my boy, but anyways, yeah, I hear what you're saying, and I'm starting to realize that because trying a couple of longs south of VWAP hasn't been very good. Luis, what do you have to say about them apples, brother? I'm curious because that's what I'm noticing. You guys have been trading them significantly longer than what I have. Going back to our scanner, actually no, never mind the scanner. We're gonna toss that to the curb, kick it to the curb. We're gonna look at what we got going on here on on some of the larger names, and we're going to kick things off with NVDA. King of market cap right here, 193.54 and still climbing. How has Apple been doing? Going opposite the overall market, Sharif. What is going on with Apple? That flight to safety. See you later. We're now trading way south of VWAP. I mean, if this thing does get a pullback in towards that indicator, watch out for this market to go on a monster leg. Who can stop? What's going on with Google? This thing is going absolutely parabolic right now from 327. 15 minutes of just straight excessive buying and on relatively low volume. You can see it start to pick up now, but this thing is going absolutely nuts. So shout out to Google. Microsoft not doing anything. Amazon at the high of the day. Tesla starting to recover here. Maybe we can get another test of the high of the day. And then META back up to 660 smackers there, Sharif. What a recovery on META off of those lows. Man, oh man, it's been a good couple of weeks for the long-term portfolio. A lot of these names starting to find somewhat of a base and start to recover. This is exactly what we want to see.
All right, man. Still holding C-Cup here, looking for a move above the 10 EMA, ideally above 65. The reason I say 65, kind of a random number, but I saw a bit of a bottom shelf there. Let me bring in the black charts instead of just like explaining it. So here's what I see. Resistance at 65 initially, right? That's a 950 candle to about 10 o'clock. We break through 65, obviously, eventually at 1010. Then that 65 level acts as an area of resistance for a period of about 15 minutes. I'm talking about 1045 to about 1055, loses it at 11. So if we get above 60, and we haven't yet, I am worried about that 65 shelf. Now, I have a bit of a bias that if we do reject 65, we're likely going back down to VWAP at around the $0.50, maybe high 40s. We'll wait and see. I'm packing the patience there, okay? So we're gonna kind of let that one roll, and I'm gonna move up my stop as required. Back into ARAI at 16. I'm looking for 1R here at 21 pennies. That's where I'm looking to take out a good size of the position. We have a doji candle that just closed at the 1120 candle. I'm looking for this candle to breach highs. The prior bar high was 17, current bar high 18. Not good enough for me. I'm gonna need more here on ARAI. If we can kind of move up into that 21, 22 penny area, that'll definitely let me rest a little bit easier as we will have a good out there. So continuing to wait. Looking for that 111 low. I'm not giving it to VWAP, which is around 110, 109. I'm giving it to the doji candle low, the low of which is 12. So you know where I'm placing my stop there. So ARAI in focus, as is C-Cup. But C-Cup, look, C-Cup could be a false bounce here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give my C-Cup trade to prior bar low. Prior bar low takes us to 551. I'm in at 550. I'm fine with going break even on the rest of this trade. If it loses 550, then I'm out. So we're gonna go ahead and put in the out here on C-Cup and see what we get. Okay, now we're looking for a move here on ARAI into 21. That's my 1R. We're showing 20s. We've breached prior bar high. We're unable to shake the seller at 20. I'm going to take a liquidity tester there. Shows good. I was able to get the fill quite promptly, but I need that 21 penny area for that 1R. It's not going to come. It's not forthcoming at the moment. Rejecting here, Joey. So we're going to have to pack the patience. Look, if we get 1R, our 2R here is at the $0.25, a little bit higher than the $0.25. 2R for me on this one is 126, which is good because high a day is 127. There's 21. We don't get the fill. We need it to pass 21 here to get the fill at 1R. There's size at 21. Let's see if we can kind of take out some of that size. Move into 22. We'll rest a little bit easier.
Come on, man, do it.
The central scrutinizer. Oh, that's funny, man. I gotta laugh at that one.
With central.
Come on, Shaggy say the same thing. I'm not even gonna say it, but it's funny.
With central scrutinizer.
Don't worry about it, Joe. All right, it's funny.
Oh, is it funny? All right, we'll hit this then.
C-Cup joke, Joe. Come on.
Yeah. Yes, man. That's, yeah,
Yo, we need like
crazy.
the Rock's entrance music.
I don't know if it's that good, is it?
If you smell what the Rock is
No,
cooking.
you know which one we really need is Kurt Angle's, because if the stock sucks, yeah, if it sucks, you just play. If it sucks, you just play the Kurt Angle.
All right,
Let's
here
go,
we
man.
go.
All right, but we don't want to get that, because I know Neil will be up. Neil will get mad at us if we have too much theme music. These guys have been trying to get the theme music for quite some time. You know
so you're saying that they were trying to get it, they weren't able to get it.
Well,
I have trouble believing that.
Yeah, same.
I have trouble believing that.
You think
I think if you put your foot down,
I think they're full
you
of
may
it,
get
man.
what you want there. But
those guys are full of it over there, man. All right, we're having a good time here today.
NWO is excellent too, ANPC 86. I would definitely be okay with that.
Have you seen Bloom Energy by any chance today, Sharif?
Did I look at BE? Did I look at BE, Joey?
The first thing I heard this morning.
Oh my
Bloom
God.
Energy?
Dude, come give me a break, bro.
What, bro?
You know where we're holding this from. I'm not gonna say.
I forget.
Oh, you do know. We're holding it from the fall. So yeah, you know exactly.
Can you give me a precise date? Can you give me a precise date?
No.
Why?
Yeah, that's that easy, huh?
Why? I'm just saying. When do you, like from the fall? Okay, so we're gonna go October.
All right.
All right, we're gonna go October. I know you're in there. I know where you're in there from.
There goes ARAI. We take out a good size there, baby. There through 21. Now we're looking for 26s. So let's go ahead and set up a larger order at $1.26. Now here's the deal. I don't change my stop quite yet. So we're gonna keep a close eye here on ARAI. Only up 35%, but we do get 1R into $1.21. Now we're looking for 2R into 126. It's a thick trade, though. Let me tell you, man. We're not getting that decisive move past the 20 penny area. In fact, it's 2 topping tail candles in a row now on the 5, both on the current candle and the prior candle as well. Has a large upper wick.
saying 26, my boy. I don't know, she just put in 26.
She likes 26 because she's born on May 26th.
Oh, okay, all right.
So that's her number, right? As like 25 is my number.
She was saying,
right?
okay, 16 being my number. All right, so we like that one.
Hold on, you're 5.
Yeah, but 16 is still my favorite number.
Why?
Darcy Tucker.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. You understand.
Good player.
Yeah, exactly. Great player. Just what I essentially had my whole game revolve around that guy. 6 and 10.
You play like him, eh?
Yeah, that's my style.
No way.
Yeah.
So you're an agitator, right?
Yeah. I wouldn't say that.
He's an agitator.
He was a big time one. I just like taking. You know, in my earlier days, in my minor hockey days, they used to call me Killer.
Why?
Because I would just take everyone's head off. Like
Really,
it didn't matter the size, man. I was dropping your shoulder. I was dropping the shoulder and just.
That's a little bit different than your personality in real life, where you're not really like that in real life, like in your day to day.
But then when we play, it's just like
you're a different guy.
Yeah. I wouldn't. I would still say I'm still the same guy. I think it's just more or less suppressed, and where we let the energy come out. That's why, bang, we like to drop people as well too, throw the hands and all that stuff.
Well, you guys heard it here.
Hey,
no violence over here.
No violence. It's all. It's all. What's the word I'm looking for? It's sport, man. It's all sport. I think everybody likes it. And same thing with football. Like it's just like, hey, man, let's.
We were told that specifically that it had to be controlled chaos.
Yeah, exactly.
That we had to be gentlemen off the field.
Yeah,
dude,
man.
did you have to wear your tracksuits and stuff like that to different games? Like our teams at the time were not doing that, but our coach would make us.
Brother, our high school football team was pulling up, smoking cigarettes.
No. We would get in so much trouble.
We that's how our team was, man.
It wasn't high school football.
Yeah, you were playing outside.
We didn't have a high school football team, but we played for the city, right?
So how's Taiwan Semi doing here today? We're still hovering around the highs, man. I personally wasn't the one pulling up smoking cigarettes, but a lot of our kids, I don't know, teenagers smoking cigarettes. It's crazy. Anyways, 3.5%, guys. Pardon me?
That was common.
That's common, yeah, big time common. You can go head over to the parking lot, grab a couple for a quarter, and then that's it. $3 and
This guy's giving the playbook. I love
it. Hey man, it doesn't get down in the parking lot.
Let's cut the crap. Okay, so I didn't smoke as a teenager. I hate cigarettes, period, okay?
Yeah.
But a lot of my friends did, and they would always earmark the convenience stores that would sell to minors.
Yeah.
Everyone knew which convenience store sold to minors.
Yeah, of course,
right?
man. Yeah, or you just have your one buddy who has his brother's ID, and then you just go there, and he would.
Yeah, there was that, but that was more for alcohol.
Yeah, that was it for both, man. Or you just the good old fishing, like you just go.
Look at Neil, he's looking back.
You just go stand outside the liquor store, look for somebody cool, and go to Adara.
Go to Adara.
Great technical move here for crypto. Yeah, sorry, I forgot to say I'm doing the crypto segment now. Sorry about that, guys. It's 11:30. It's time for crypto. So with that unceremonious introduction, which is entirely on me, let's take a look here at BTC. 76,000 has been breached. As of today, according to TradingView data, we got to like 76,050, so we didn't even get to 76.1. That is, though, slightly above the just under 76 area that we touched on Tuesday, March 17th. So it took us about a month, but we got back to 76. We are, however, pulling back from that level right now, just holding on to 75K. So will this be a little bit of a double top of this area where we continue this curl to push higher and push above that 76 level? Time will tell. But we know yesterday we had a little bit of a backing for this rally. Of course, we closed yesterday's session at basically highs, or session highs rather. But it is worth noting too, Circle rallied yesterday, Coinbase rallied for some of the day yesterday, Bernstein upgrading, Robinhood today. So I think a lot of the sentiment in this crypto space quite positive. If you look at Ethereum's daily chart, much like Bitcoin, we get above and actually in Ethereum's case more significantly surpass that level of resistance from March, but we can't hold it and we pull back. So let's see if Ethereum and BTC are able to nicely stay above those levels of 2,400 and 76,000 respectively.
Stuff. Yeah, see, thank you very much for that, Adair, by the way. We take a little bit more off of Tesla as it's put in a new high of the day and new. There you go. So that's a nice little bit of a move, guys. We don't have too much left, but we're going to rock and roll about 5 or 6% or so. And this one has been a good trade. So we just ride this wave all day until otherwise. I have no issues with getting stopped out break even. I don't think that's going to necessarily be the case today, but anything can happen as Bitcoin is curling off of the lows here. Adair was just talking about that $76,000 mark as we are starting to climb. So I wouldn't be surprised in the near future if we're going to go on a run in Bitcoin, look for that $80,000 target here. We don't want to get too ahead of ourselves, but Michael Saylor probably starting to see a little bit more of a smile on his face as he's been grabbing some more as well.
There goes ARAI into 26, guys. Full disclosure. And there it is, Joey. There it is. There's the $1.28. We take out 2R on ARAI. 3R for me is $1.31, and that's where the next order goes. 131 on ARAI. That will necessitate a high of daybreak because the high now is 128. This is turning into an ugly topping till candle, at least momentarily here on ARAI. It's a $1.28 high. Now the body of this candle on the 5 looks really, really bad. This could be a reversal here. Careful on this one, okay? It could be bought up, though. We know how these ones act, these small cap gappers. A topping till candle, even one that closes on a small cap gapper, in my humble submission, is not the same thing as seeing it on a large cap or an even medium cap, because these ones are intraday. And we know what the intraday traders are doing, especially to the long side. They're taking profits and getting the hell out of there, just like I'm doing. So there's often times where aggressive profit taking leads to these topping tail candles. So that's why I really want to stress they are not the same thing, but you should respect them nonetheless, though, because it can turn around on you in a hurry. There goes C-Cup. Let's go, C-Cup, into 560. We're waiting for 61s here on the cup. Let's see what this one has to offer. What do we got on this? We got 50 on this one. I got 5 on it. My bad. Now we're going to post here at 69, of course, true to form. We're looking for C-Cup here to get through 65. As I've mentioned before, 65 is my bias that there is a seller at that level, okay? And that has to concern me here. Prolific. Stop, bro, stop. There's nothing I can do but the name.
Hold on, Sharif. There we go. A little bit more there on Tesla.
Get it, Joey.
As we take some more off the top there, guys, putting in a new high of the day. This is a nice move. Yeah, sorry to interrupt there, Sharif, but we got Tesla. Oh, wow. We don't want this number up here. Get that out of here. 6.66%. Oh, there we go. We get a nice little switch on that one. Yeah, crypto short squeeze may be coming into play. I think the price action would be a little bit more aggressive. You know what? I'm going to say this. We haven't had that massive parabolic day yet, where a lot of them do get squeezed. Watch for that to potentially come into play relatively soon. Who knows? It may not happen, but I think we're going to have one of those sessions where it's just outright strength, just straight to the top side. You're going to see a lot of volume stepping in. You're going to have those extremely bullish candles from a daily and intraday perspective where you can take advantage of some pretty big moves. But there it is on TSLL to the top side.
Attaboy.
Attaboy. Yeah, we're thinking a little bit more.
Lazy Rocks, what's good there?
Yeah, somebody had, oh, okay, so I was actually thinking about that this morning.
What are you thinking about, Joe?
Okay, so someone said, hey, where do you guys get level 2? I don't know, like I've never used TradingView in that aspect, but for me, I think it's so difficult. I'm like, how do individuals trade on just, again, to each their own. If you built a system, whatever, if you can extract profits, it doesn't matter to me. But at the end of the day, I would have a really hard time using a platform like TradingView with Intraday, one, because of the market delay, and then two, there's no time of sales. I could care less sometimes about the level 2. It's the tape. The tape is one of the most important things. Someone used to use this reference in the fact it's like your rear view mirror or your side mirrors, right? Like you're looking for, but what are you going to use to look at each individual side? And the time of sales is the teller of worlds, essentially, when it comes to trading. And I think it's one of the most important tools, aside from price, obviously, and volume. You need the tape, and I don't know if TradingView provides that.
Man, Miguel, man, we're missing everyone, Miguel. Saka out, Timber out, Calafiore out, Odegaard out. I've had it, man. I've had it. Like, I mean, it's like not only is the team playing poorly when the main players are there, but now our main players, especially our attacking players, for me anyway, Saka on the wing. I love Madueke, don't get me wrong, man. Noni's clutch, but he's a different type of player than Bukayo, and I'm not happy. I'm not happy.
So a lot of people ask me, like, hey, Joe, what do you mean by this? So essentially from the time that it goes from the market to your computer, right? You want that to be in milliseconds. If it's a couple of seconds, no good. You're behind. Like, you're getting old data, essentially. You need that to be in the milliseconds. I remember one of my old platforms at home, I'm not too sure what it is here, Jose was telling me, but it's like 40 milliseconds or something like that. So it's instant. You can't have something that's prolonged or any form of delay. If it hits multiple seconds, you got to find something else. Otherwise, you're going to have very little success, in my opinion.
All right, man. There goes C-Cup again into 65. So we get the print at 65, but here now and lies the problem. If we don't get above 65 and get above it decisively, I think we're going back to VWAP or at least 550. Stop, bro. Right? And the reason I say I'm fixated with this 565 area is for two reasons. One, it was a very obvious area of resistance for about 15 to 20 minutes. And then once it broke, it acted as support for about 15 to 20 minutes. And here we are again, unable to take it out. I never saw a 66 print on the time and sales, nor did I see the level 2 move up into 66. And here we are rejecting 65 on the prior bar and the current bar over here. So we'll see what we get. We won't get upset. Shout out to my man Neil. But I want to reassess here my analysis on Mimi. Luis, there goes Mimi into 67. There's 68. Here comes 68 and a half. 70.47 high, so essentially 70 and a half penny high. There's 69 on the time and sales, and there it is on the level 2. Here comes 70 possibly on Mimi. The break there, it goes into 73. It took out all the sellers. Mimi has reawoken here and made a new high a day. Limit up is 79, guys. Limit up is 79. We're still not close to that yet. 73
I love that
and a half.
curl over, man. I love that curl up, man. That's a
curl up. And Joey, you bring up a fantastic point.
Yeah.
But you want to know what that curl up coincided with?
What's that?
What's that white line?
That's
the volume weighted average. Look at the clean hold on VWAP there. You don't have to put your stop immediately below VWAP. You could give it 1 or 2 pennies.
Yeah, exactly.
And in this case, you do that, you're printing. You know what I mean? Like,
Printing.
Yeah, there goes me. Stop, guys. There goes Mimi into the high. I can't
see what Hinsey said?
Yes, man, I did. Stop, guys. But Mimi's on that. Yeah, Mimi's on that good stuff, Hinsey. You're going to have to guess what that good stuff is. But IONX, I want to bring your attention to this one because it's also looking good. This one could take out the high of the day pretty quickly here. 30.67 high. We're showing above $30 by a smidge here, up about 38%. This is a leveraged ETF that deals with IONQ. I'm pretty sure it is 2 times leverage. Let me confirm that with you guys. Yes, it is 2 times, 200% the daily move of IONQ. So IONX doing its thing, 25. SNAL is all sorts of weak. It is halted down again. Now, here's the deal. This is an interesting area of possible support here for SNAL, for SNAL. I like this consolidation area here, and it's also just a little bit below the $0.25. We're going to give SNAL a look. It's pulling back. It might give me an opportunity here, possibly off this $0.25. If not, then I'm certainly looking at VWAP and or $1. And then you also have that topping tail candle at 750, the high of which was 99.38, so essentially $1. So you'll have a double whammy in terms of support, VWAP, the whole dollar, price action, resistance. You'll see a bunch of different probably buy orders stepping in around there. But guys, Mimi is breaking out. It's back into 69. It's looking for 75 here. If it clears 75, Mimi is on the way to $1. Okay, trade it carefully. We're going to Adair.
Just be aware here, USO on watch. We have comments coming from U.S. Energy Secretary Chris Wright. Nothing massive, but he's just speaking on Fox News right now, so be aware. He also just said that gasoline prices could be higher for, quote, a few more weeks. Back to you.
Well, the supply isn't just going to show up out of nowhere, bro. Those boats, you know, like I get the U.S. doesn't have a physical good problem. Like they can actually get the oil. But it's a world market, and world markets are determined by the prices are determined by world markets. So even if the U.S. has gas, the fact of the matter is the barrel is going to remain elevated until we can kind of move past the supply shock.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Which is going to take some time. As we mentioned, these vessels move extremely slow as well. All right, there it is. Take a little bit more off at 58. On Tesla, as the market is just screaming right now. Let's head back to our mag. Bitcoin on a solid recovery, another strong uptick in TSLL. This is an all-day rider. Considering the streak that we've been on, this is exactly how we want to rebound. And sure enough, I'm talking with Jose last time. I'm like, yeah, man, I got to get back on my creatine wave. Start it up again, and then we have the ability to put on this. So I don't know. Is that
It's like 6 weeks.
I know. That's what I'm saying. I know.
Calm down, bro.
I know.
This guy's telling me yesterday, like, I gotta get on the creatine.
Yeah, I don't
disagree
with
with any
on
of
and
that.
off. I like because I cycle is a little bit of a strong word, but I hop on and off of it. But yeah, we're glad to be.
Bryson is calling you out, bro. He's like,
saying,
creatine is not natty. I disagree with that
Yeah, that's
wholeheartedly.
crazy.
I disagree with that entirely, Bryson, but
That's okay. I'm okay with that. I mean, I think creatine, if you can buy it in the store.
Super natty.
But see, the thing is, that's where you get because your body naturally produces testosterone as well too. So does that count?
No, you're not natty, Joey.
You
got too much test over there.
I mean, hey man, we'll go over to Mexico. We can get whatever we like in that neck of the woods. There. You know that, right?
He did it.
You hop right.
Dude, you should have seen in Dominican. Buy anabolic steroids
here.
here.
The signs are everywhere.
It's
right?
everywhere, bro.
I mean, but anyways, we don't do any of that. But what we do right now, up 15K on Tesla. I'm not. We'll hit the stone cold for you on Jared Causley, up 15K on Tesla calls today. Thank you very much for that one. Man, give us a little bit more detail on what calls you got or you currently have or what you're holding on. Just type it in the chat. We'll go over that. But congratulations to you. That's exactly what we want to see. 15K.
That's big, man.
You know what I typically say when you're up?
What do you say, Joey?
Don't spend it all in one place.
I know, man. Well,
spend it all in one place.
That's trouble.
Yeah. I mean, don't spend it on trips to Rio Republica, Colombia.
What a time, bro. What a time.
Crazy.
I'm going to show you some pictures still, but yeah, we'll have to filter some of those. C-Cup into 67 it goes. We took out our 1R there on the cup at 65. Current bar high, 65 here. I saw 66 flash there on the time and sales, but I guess it didn't print officially. What? That's lies. It's right there on the left side of your screen. 66 is right there. So 566 candle high for the cup. We're looking for more, man. I'm looking for it now. If we can decisively get above 65, and we mentioned 65 is going to be a hard road to hoe, right? Because of the multiple areas of support and resistance that keep going through that area. But if we get above 65, I have a bias that we probably at least try to test $6 at some point in the day. It doesn't feel like it's going to be in a straight line given how C-Cup is trading. But I got to tell you something. I don't feel we've decisively taken out 65 pennies yet on CCUP. But we're going to stay in it for now. And we'll see what comes of that. I can't.
Yo, what is
comments,
it?
man?
Yo, yeah, these comments
wild,
are hilarious.
right? Like, yeah.
Tesla's just absolutely screaming right now.
Oh, Joey.
To the top side. No, what? So you know when you see those videos of like guys at the car dealership and stuff, and they're asking if the car has cats. What does that mean? Like, does it have cats?
Oh, catalytic converter.
Is that what it's referring to?
Okay, so
I know
there's a TikToker called George Saliba. He's this Lebanese car salesman, I think.
Yeah,
in
the
Jersey.
luxury guy. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's like,
so
does it have
he
cats?
kind of had this thing where if you were trying to sell him his car, the first question he would ask you
does it have
is,
cats?
does it have cats, right? Catalytic converter. Right?
Okay, is that actually what it is? I thought that's what it meant, but
Yeah,
why?
yeah,
But
yeah.
like, why? Because people steal the catalytic converter?
No, because you got to get it certified, right?
Oh.
In order to get it state certified, like if you were to go get your car right now, like when I sold my car, I had to take it to get, what is it called? Safety inspection.
Safety
right?
inspection.
They won't do the safety if it doesn't have catalytic converters.
Okay.
Right? Even though it sounds way better without cats.
Yeah. I gotta.
Exactly.
Well, I'm not gonna tell you the story about what I did to my catalytic converter one time, Sharif. But what we are gonna do, Assassino, screen, bang, take it off right there. Another partial on TSLL as it's continuing to climb. All day trader, all day, not non-fader right here on TSLL. Now 7.6% as Tesla's starting to recover big time, guys. Let's take a look at it from a daily. Excuse me.
Ram.
So there it is. Channel, like we're heading back towards the top end of this channel. Let's see if we break. Like that's the narrative, right? You want to wait for trend breaks. There's even an opportunity. You're not going to catch the bottom, but if it holds above 365 or 370s, there might be a potential trade there. I would just be a little bit more cautious. I think there's more potential downside. I'm not saying that there is, but just due to earnings coming in, you have to take into consideration car business not doing the best for Tesla. Remain forward looking, but out of all of the Magnificent Seven or the $1 trillion boys, I think this one could get hit. If it does, it could probably get hit the hardest out of all of them, just considering it's still a car manufacturer. The energy storage segment can be growing at a clip rate, but other than that, I don't know if that's enough to hold it up.
No, you bring up a good point, man. All right, we're back in Mimi here. All right, we're going to give Mimi the old try. Sorry to the person who don't like the old calls try. Here we go, 64 double eights. We're in at 63, 67. There's the print. 1R for me is 68. We're going to put the majority of the shares right there. We're going to go 67.5. We're looking for 1R. 2R for me is going to be a little bit below $0.75 at 73 pennies, which is cool because the high of the day is 73.42. So I'm definitely looking for something a little bit below that high a day because I do expect, of course, for us to encounter resistance at around there. So let's see what Mimi has to offer over here and whether or not it weasels back into that 70 pennies. I stop out below the 10 EMA on the 5, keeping a close eye as well. Not on ARAI, well, I kind of am, but C-Cup, again, C-Cup having trouble taking out 65, and there it goes. Now it's consolidating. It's not losing trend, at least not yet. So if it loses trend, I'll have to reconsider. I have the $0.50, so I've got a bit of a buffer, but what's the point in giving anything back if it's going to lose trend? So I'm keeping a close eye on C-Cup here, looking for $0.75. I've got a liquidity tester at 69. Rajesh. No, Canadian ships oil overseas. Poor choices. India exports much more oil. Brother, we export oil. I don't know why you're saying we don't export oil. We do, right? We just don't have the kind of export facilities that we could have given our size. So our prime minister right now, who just got a majority government yesterday, that means that basically he can get his agenda through Parliament a lot easier than if he had to negotiate with the other parties. It kind of gives him I don't want to say de facto control, but essentially it kind of is, right? Now, he's got some nation-building projects in mind. Hopefully they get done, and they're not just words. But we do have a plan to build terminals and pipelines that go to the West Coast, as well as possibly even through the Arctic Strait, Alberta, which is the oil-producing province in this country. The premier there, Danielle Smith, actually is trying to strike a deal with Manitoba to build a pipeline through the northern part into the Hudson's Bay. So where ships can come into the Hudson's Bay and then take the Arctic bypass. So we're trying to do in so many different things. We'll see how it gets done. You know, these things are going to take years and years and years. Hopefully they get done and we benefit from it. In any event, continuing to watch Mimi here as it zigs and zags, Joey, of a bunch of different lower highs. If it loses 58 pennies, I'm out, but I'm looking for this one to try and test the high at around 73 pennies.
All right, man. Amazon is absolutely on a monster. Look at this run the market has been on. This is absolutely insane. You're only down 4% off of that previous pivot high in Amazon. Like, who doesn't think it is at this point? I mean, we were in bear market 22%, and in the span of a couple of trading weeks, it's just like, yeah, well, okay, I don't know what you're talking about. Here we go. And I think at this pace, you're going to breach this and put in a new all-time high on Amazon. So the leaders...
Boy, Ackman made a good call there, eh?
On Amazon? Yeah, I think Amazon was a buy all day, man, to be honest with you. AWS is him, essentially. And I think it's, again, we have the larger names. We have that Mag 7, the Broadcoms, the Apples, the NVDAs, the Amazons, the Metas, all starting to really rally. And look at the price action within the market. We're starting to climb higher, all right? So this is essentially what you're looking for. It's unfortunate to say, like, market breadth is fantastic, but when you're so heavily weighted in the top few names, you do need them to participate in order for this market to find some form of orderly price action, in my opinion. And once they're all starting to trade clean, look what you got going on the TQQQ. Sean was long that one. You got TSLL here. You have Amazon continuing to climb. You have Meta up there, getting close to its previous earnings report high. I mean, there's a lot going on. What's Nike? I know I'm jumping all over the place, but here, let's take a look at what Nike's doing. Do I love the retail space? Absolutely not. Look what Nike's been doing. Like, the inventory is too high. China sales sliding aggressively. There's just not enough going on for this name. They made maybe a couple strategic errors. You're down 46%. I just don't think the retail names are that space to really invest in for the long term, because the ever-revolving door of brands coming in and brands coming out. And that's just how I feel about it. I think tech is relatively stronger, but there's so much competition within that space.
I respect that. I was going to say, I saw completely like different styles from, you know, gym attire from some of the people I saw on vacation than some of the see here. So it's like we get fixated and we think, you know, this is the hot brand for athleisure, but then you go elsewhere in the world and it's might be completely different.
There's
you know what I mean?
Many.
Yeah, I just want to mention that quickly.
There's a lot.
You brought Nike up. Guys, continuing to watch Mimi here. It's putting in higher lows and higher highs. It does feel like it has a lot of resistance. I just wet the beak again at 66, but we're waiting for our 1R on Mimi at 68, and then I'm looking for it to move into 73. So let's keep a close eye on that one. We'll see what we get. We won't get upset. C-Cup is rejecting 65. Now, my concern is here with C-Cup is, do I want to give everything back? Like, do I want to give this down to my entry at the $0.50? I mean, not really. I'm not holding a lot of shares still since we got our 1R on this one, but it's slowing down in terms of volume too. I don't like what I'm seeing so far right now with that 65 rejection on C-Cup. So I'm going to continue to hold it for now. I think I'm just going to give it 1 or 2 pennies above my entry. That way I lock in the profit. So we're just going to do that. And we're going to give it to there. Now let's cancel, I should say, the prior stop so we don't get into any trouble there. So we'll take out that one. Good. All right. Let's talk about ARAI. Again, it is setting up again. So this one, I think Luis would probably say bid non-compliant. It has a double top into the high 20s. First one is 27, second one is 28. Here it is again, coming into 19s. Here comes 20s. So this one seems to be a VWAP story. Every time it drops down into the volume weighted average price, it seems to be getting bought up. So another one to keep your eye on here. ARAI is a ticker I'm talking about, looking pretty good, man. My biggest winner on the day anyway. It's going to be between that and C-Cup. C-Cup's also a good winner for me. So we'll keep tabs on that. But yeah, ARAI in focus here, Joey, just about how I execute on this. Commodity King says GPRK, pardon me. GPRK. Let's have a look quickly there. Shout out to my man Taylor. GPRK. What do we got here? Oh, did I type that wrong? Commodity King? I think I did. GPRK. My bad. See, GPRK. There we go.
Day Trading says ARAI is non-compliant for market value.
What does that mean for market value?
Yeah. Give us a little more detail there.
Okay, well, here is GPRK. What do we have on this one? We've got, this one's up 2 and change, 2.61. It's at the day high as we speak at 1021. Not exactly a rocket ship like it was. I think that's Thursday's price action, right? From the top to the bottom. It was like 17%. Not bad, but not great. I think I'm going to get stopped at a Mimi here. It's coming back down into 61. It's going to lose trend, but GPRK is not too bad, brother. I would say maybe something at around 1010. Looked at have a lot of resistance there. Otherwise, what are we looking at here in terms of the hourly? Okay, so you're not going to encounter resistance, at least not on a wide time frame basis, until about 10.5. That takes us back to March 20th. So good eye by you on GPRK. Nothing really that I have to do on this one, but keep me apprised of what you intend to do. Not a bad look. I'm holding Mimi here with the hopes that it does hold up the 10 EMA, but if it breaks down, I think I'm going to put my stop below 60 because it's right there. So it's going to go 59.5, and then we'll give it down to 59 for the last remaining amount on Mimi. Then I can cancel my other stop because it does feel like it might be losing trend a little bit here, and if it is, I don't want to be involved with it. So that's all I've got right now, Joey. What are you looking at?
I'm looking. I got the same trade on, man. I don't have too much going on, to be honest with you. Other than that, I was gonna ask you, like, how far do you think the NASDAQ and the SPY are off of all-time highs? Not very much whatsoever. The SPY is 0.6%.
I looked at this morning with Brendo. I don't even know now, but from the pre-market,
yeah,
we were 1.25% off.
Yeah, it's now that's cut in half essentially. So 0.6% right there on the SPY and 1.6% on the NASDAQ. And the conflict hasn't even officially came. This is a ceasefire. There's no deal made yet. So watch out. Like, look what's going to happen. I mean, things can turn around on a dime, especially in regards to earnings season, right? Things may not work out how essentially you want them to. But at the end of the day, this is a big-time recovery, and this is what you want to see. Did I think that we were going to see a V-shaped reversal like this? Not at all, right? Not at all whatsoever. So, I mean, strong price action. Sharif, your thoughts on RLAY?
Already pulling it up.
Okay,
we're just gonna look at this one, and then we're gonna send it to Adara. This is the 4-hour chart on RALY, Relay Therapeutics. It's a $2.8-ish billion market cap. We're gonna do a wide time frame analysis, and then we'll narrow it down to intraday. Look, clear area of resistance at around 11.5 got decimated on that breakout back on the 2nd of April. Since that time, look at these higher highs and higher lows, inching into 16. It's quite close to that $16 level. Let me just take a quick look at the daily. Oh, baby. Okay, so we're not quite at COVID highs. 16, 15 was definitely a resistance because it was support. Then now you're looking at, I believe, 19 to 20. Take a look at that $19 area back from April of 23. It was also support back in October of 22 and again in August of 22. So that's $19 to $20 area could be a tough area of resistance, but you've got all the moving averages pointing the right way, baby. You got the 200 pointing up. You got the 50 crossing above the 200. You got the golden cross back in October. This is a really good looking name. It does clinical stage precision medicine company. Initial focus is on enhancing small molecule therapeutic discovery in targeted oncology genetic disease indications. That's the daily, and that was the 4-hour. Let's look at the 5-minute chart. Not much in the way of anything to say, locally here, intraday. If you're looking for intraday, 1555 volume weighted average price. If the institutions are going to accumulate this, they're likely going to be picking it up intraday off VWAP. That's where I'd say probably have a look there. Other than that, it looks like a fantastic chart. Mimi heading back up. We don't get the print. It's not continuing through. I had my order there at 67 and change. It didn't cross. We don't get the print, but we're going to pack the patience. And while we're being patient, We're sending you to Adira for happening now.
NASDAQ trying to break this new high of day around 626. We'll take a look at the S&P 500, which is also hanging out here at high of days and taking its time on this 15-minute chart now to break out. We're seeing these candles be a little bit smaller. Most recent news I got here out of the Middle East, we had News Nation reporting a couple minutes ago that a White House official said that direct future discussions with Iran are under discussion. So the discussions are under discussion, that is the headline, but they don't have a date as of yet. President Trump, about half an hour ago, according to the New York Post, said that he thinks that the U.S. can go back to Pakistan for discussions with Iran within the next 2 days. So I bring up all this Iran news because I think a little bit of a reevaluation maybe here of the oil situation has led here to this drop in oil and this push up here. We know that there's going to be some supply and demand concerns here with oil. USO hanging out here at intraday lows. Keep an eye here on any comments from IEA, which is, of course, an energy-related agency. That director, Fatih Birol, if I see anything from him, I'll let you know. Keep an eye as well here on any geopolitical headlines, because I think that's really going to be worth noting here, especially with oil where it is. In terms of headlines for stocks, we had BE, which is still at like intraday highs here, just shy of that 220 level was the high of day. They expanded their partnership with Oracle to support their build out of their AI and cloud compute structure. Oracle's going to be purchasing up to 2.8 gigawatts here. We have to talk about ORCL, which had a very strong start to the session, but technical resistance at 170 failing Oracle yet again right now. I mean, still up on the day, but below their pre-market and intraday highs here, and 162 here, proving to be a little bit of a level of potential support. Let's talk about banks. JP Morgan, incredibly uninspiring here on an intraday basis, but this one was on watch. After a decent earnings report, net interest income outlook for fiscal 2026 appears to be what pushed this one a little bit lower. GS earnings day two doing quite well. Other banks that reported this morning include Wells Fargo and Citigroup, though tomorrow before the bell we're going to get Morgan Stanley and BAC. Last but not least, I want to remind you guys, tons of Fed speakers on watch today. And when I say today, I mean within the next hour. 12:15, we get more comments from Feds Goolsby, who already spoke a little bit this morning. 12:45, Feds Bar. 1 p.m., Fedapalooza, if you will. Feds Bar, Feds Barkin, Feds Collins, Feds Paulson. I'll keep all of those comments here on watch, and I'll keep you posted with everything right here at Trader TV Live. Make sure to like and subscribe.
We still got a lesson, and I actually just sat back down at my desk. But, you know, sometimes it's really just about dodging pitfalls or dodging mines, or I guess maybe I shouldn't use mines given what's going on in the Gulf right now, but dodging bullets, whatever it is, you've got to know when something is right and when it's wrong. And we sniffed a couple out here, and it is what it is. I think one of the things you have to look for, and we talked about this in the lesson in the afternoon, like find key price levels. But just because it's a key price level doesn't mean you have to execute. And I'll give the example of Intel. You're going to see there was some significance at all the levels I was looking at today. Didn't hold off of the open, a key support, which was prior highs, and then a key support level from the prior day, and we'll get to where it did eventually bounce and why we're able to find it there. But let's be real for a second. If I'm playing a gap up and I like the long, okay, I've got this level, that's a top, and I've got this support. It tried to bounce off this level. Then I go back another day, and it's this prior triple top that we got the wick through to find the long. It's one thing for it to get to a price level. Was there a reason to execute? Some people might just because, oh, that's what I wrote down. That's what I'm going to take. No, not me. When it got to this level here, when did I get in? After the bottoming tail confirmed closing above. And then I'm entering on the next candle. It's one thing to talk about patience. It's another thing to have an execution strategy that actually reflects it. And then on top of that, remember, if I have this key level and it rejects there, well, what happened after that? Could it hold on to VWAP? Nope. Could it hold on to this prior bounce level? Nope. Could it hold on to my entry level from before? Nope. It was still trending down. There was nothing about it that was telling me I needed to be in this still, or trying the long. So you can be one and done. There's nothing wrong with a trend trade. But if or trading off the support and resistance or levels, but sometimes you've got to get out of dodge. Even something that was holding VWAP and trending higher. You know, I wanted to see if SoFi could continue its trend all day long. I love SoFi. I wish it had done better. But sometimes You miss one bounce while we're trading something else, fair enough. I like to maybe focus on one or two things at a time. We get a bounce off VWAP, it gets to the high. Did it show a re-entry here at VWAP again? No. There's a couple of wicks down there, but we don't have closes holding the volume weighted average price. It rejects. So no long. It's easy to say, oh, I'm a disciplined trader or I'm being patient, but you have to have entry strategies. This bounce holds VWAP, closes higher. That's a re-entry. This should have been a re-entry, right? Bounces VWAP, closes higher. Bit of a chase candle there, which made it difficult, but that's more reasonable. The nitty-gritty of trading comes down to execution oftentimes, and when you should get into a trade and when sometimes you should not get into a trade. It's an important thing. Because ultimately, just because a stock gets to a price level that's key for you, or the market's going up so then every long should work, it's not always that simple. You still want to have an execution strategy that is repeatable, that you can understand so that you know what it is that you're looking for when you get into a trade, and then you can sniper entries. It's always best if you don't have a plan of action to take a step back. And if you do, then don't hesitate. Jump right into the trade. And sometimes it is about missing those pitfalls. Great, it held VWAP before. Don't assume it's going to hold it again. If it shows you the pattern that works on a VWAP hold, then go ahead and execute that trade. But so many times I see traders get married to a notion and they're just sitting on the bid in front of something. That's fine when it works. But you have to understand that over time, I've been trading a long time, without a solid execution strategy, traders will have good ideas that don't actually turn into profits. The execution is such a big part of everything you do as a trader. And just to give you the note on the lunch, the drumsticks were cooked just fine. The jerk chicken was actually better than usual. I don't know, like I'm gonna give it like a 7-7 on the jerk chicken. Vegetables, good. Rice and peas, solid. Nothing too crazy. The coleslaw was okay, but I'll give it a 7.7. Lunch was solid today. Can't complain at all. We're gonna throw you guys back over to the midday. So enjoy, good luck on the rest of your trading.
7.7 is an acceptable score. 7.7, yeah. Man, I'm telling you, after Rio Republica AFK, so if you guys have ever been to this resort, there is like one snack bar by the beach. A lot of people just go to it because they don't want to walk all the way back to the buffet, but this jerk chicken had me, wondering, did I ever really eat proper jerk chicken before? No, it wasn't that good, but it was fantastic. I mean, it was done really well, and you could get a lot of them, and like protein. But Joey, we are losing trend on Mimi, but more pleased I could not be. We took it out at the area high there on the Mimi, but again, coming into 70 pennies, and finding rejection. Now I've got a bit more of an understanding about what Mimi is all about over here. There's clearly a seller at 70. And as much as I wanted to see support at the 10 EMA, as much as I want to see support, yes, we see clean areas of support at VWAP, it does feel like a consolidative range with, outlying areas like the candle here at 1140. But for the most part, this thing is having a whole lot of trouble clearing 70 in the same way that it's having a whole lot of trouble losing 60. It's losing it now, Joey, right off the volume weighted average price. This could be a buy. Let me take a quick look. Where is limit down? Limit down is 52. We're substantially above 52. So keep your eye here on Mimi, especially if it holds this area down here. I'm talking about the low, which is 54.15. Current candle low, 55.96. This seems like a range. Now, if you want to, buy it up at the lows with the view to taking it out near the highs and just play the range, have at it. But don't view it as a breakout trade until it shows you that it's decisively taking out 70 pennies. And right now it's not, because we don't even have a closing print on the 5 above 70 pennies. We're pausing. We're going to see you.
Yeah, just really quick here, keep an eye out for spot silver has gained 5% around the 79.37 per ounce range. That's all. Sending it back to you.
Thank you, Sia. Always appreciate that. Silver, It's having a day, Joey. 5 and change.
We were talking about that 68. We were talking about that 68 bottom on SLV here, guys. And this thing has been putting in a pretty good session with the overall market. Nice volume weighted average price bounce, indecision prints there, and off to the races you go. About 10 minutes ago, you put in that high of the day, $72, and we were talking about that 68 base just due to essentially the options chain, right? Like we can pull that back up and see what we got going on that front. SLV. 22,300, and this is what I was referring to, okay? So maybe we can sit on top of 70.55, which we're currently doing right now, 71.76. If this holds, you can climb a little bit higher, and that's when you want to flip over to your call side and see when that next level of resistance is. You can see the correlation at that $75 mark, equal amount on the put and on the call side, 26,300 there and 23,300 over there. So that's not bad whatsoever. Nice bounce, maybe a support system being formed at that $70 mark. We're north of that 68, in which we were talking about earlier this morning. So not too bad of a move on SLV. Good call out there, Sia. We'll pull it up on our chart here. She was talking 5% on spot silver. What do we have here on SLV AM? Yeah, 5%, relatively the exact same thing. So great call out, strong trend, and that's essentially what you want to look for day to day. This trade was so hot for so long. I shouldn't say so long, but that couple month run where it's just buy the dip on it, I mean, it cooled down. You had mass liquidation, you had that 22% bearish day, and then now you're slowly starting to climb higher. We should look at this from a daily as well, just to see what we got going on. We'll head over to the watch list. We'll pull up SLV, take a look at the daily. So you go from $110 all the way down. You're still down 35%, which is kind of garbage. You're down 45%. Yeah, that's a head scratcher right there. But now at least you're starting to climb a little bit higher. One thing that we have to keep an eye out on is just these lower highs. Okay, right? Like if it runs into this zone, you have to be prepared to just watch out for a potential rejection. But it doesn't seem to be the case. You can draw some secondary trends as well. There it is. Nice little secondary off of this, and then maybe you get a little breakup, and then maybe you can climb. The thing is, like, we have to take into consideration off of these lows. That's a big return. I don't know if you're going to get that snappy quick. I don't think that's going to be the narrative in silver. Gold has been stronger. We could pull that up and see what we got going on. It's less, but still down quite a bit, 13%. More than half or less than half of essentially what silver is down, but this is stronger and more in vogue in my opinion. So those are those names. We went over silver, we went over gold, we've been looking at IBIT as well, and then look at the VIX. And this is what I talk about. Like, I think buying the put is essentially a little bit easier of a strategy than buying the calls because you're anticipating the increase in volatility with the VIX index here. You're down 48% off of that previous $34 high in the VIX. So that's not too bad whatsoever. We can run through our watch list. How's AMD been doing? This thing's not far off its all-time highs either. So off to the races, it goes 5% in advanced micro devices. BMNR starting to find somewhat of a rebound. Not that strong though, $18. This might be a grab down here. I don't know about BMNR, man, in some of these treasury plays.
Bro, don't even get me started, man.
Trend
That
lines,
looks like okay. So I looked at that yesterday.
Yeah.
Because it's one of two positions that I'm out of the money on. Joby, I'm still out of the money on Joby. I'm still out of the money on BMNR. I'm break even now on IBIT. But this one I was looking for a reason to add. So I was talking to myself. I'm like, is this an accumulation zone or a distribution zone? Mm-hmm. And can you make out the difference? I don't see any higher lows or higher highs there. I don't even see any like clear distinctive level to say, oh, we can't breach through that level. You know what I mean?
It's tough, man.
It is, but it did break trend. So if you're looking for a consistent lower high trend, okay, stop doing that. Fine. Because now it's kind of moving to the side.
Yeah.
But it's always that a glowing endorsement to go long.
I mean, like, I don't know, man. You have to think so long term with these things. Like, it's been doing absolutely nothing. But one thing that I will say with BMNR is that, like, now they're holding over, like, a stupid amount of Ethereum.
They are.
Right?
What is it, like,
so it's just like, over time, could this be a good investment? It sucks because it's dead money for so long and you feel like you can place that elsewhere. But, I mean, what is BM&R going to do a couple of years from now?
No, I agree. And that's why I didn't sell. I mean, I could have sold, right? I didn't. I believe in the play in the same way that I believe in eVTOLs. Like, I just know, everything, there's a time.
But I think the eVTOL play, may even be more prolonged than what we have in the crypto space.
Fair. That's fair. Yeah, I mean, it depends really on battery technology, I think. It's going to...
And regulation.
But look, the batteries are there. They're not going to say no to them. That's the thing.
You think so?
No, absolutely not.
Even here, like, considering we're just plagued by over-regulation?
Second biggest country in the world. We got plenty of airspace, my guy. Right?
Plenty of airspace. But I mean, as for so where are you gonna rock them? Like where you can't bring them in the inner city, probably.
I think you can though. That's the thing. Like it's just gonna be like certain height and
requirements.
I think so. Yeah, and then there's
like landing pads. Obviously, gonna be.
You gotta set up all that.
Yeah, you gotta set
but
up
I don't
all that
see
stuff.
that being like an overwhelming burden. On the industry. I don't know. That's kind of how I see it. Guys, let's go into some of this. The real Don D. Sharif. You got to trade BM&R watching the E chart. Couldn't agree with you more, brother. Absolutely. I do realize it's more of a leverage play in the same way that MSTR is a leverage play for crypto, or sorry, for Bitcoin. But your point well taken. Bilbo Baggin, it's been a minute since I've seen you, man. AHMA, microflow, high volume day. Say less. And then I got to get to BM&R to BYND. Guys, Mimi is all sorts of weak. I'm quite happy with my exit here on Mimi. Look at that out, and now it's bleeding its own blood. Now, it could find support at 50 pennies. It's going to find support without me because it's below VWAP. But watch out for Mimi, still up 100% on the day. Let's have a look at AHMA. All right, this is really good. This is very, very nice here. What's the volume on this? We got a lot of volume, about 48 million shares here. So let's do a little TA. Let's throw in the ticker so everybody can follow along. AHMA. There's got to be a better way to put in the ticker. The reason I didn't even look at this thing is because it lost view up. Now, I got to give Cool Brioche credit. Cool Brioche messaged me. He's like, look, Sharif, AHMA is moving back into VWAP. My response to Cool Brioche was, watch out for the VWAP rejection. He was right. I was wrong. Because look what this one did since then. It was at $1.35 or something since when he sent it to me. And shout out to you, Cool Brioche, because you've got a 168 area high. Now, you still are below that 1015 area high, the high of the day, I would say, at $1.73. Be on the lookout for a break of trend. But I'd be picking this up if it continues to hold trend, especially, if you get into that 170 area, you're probably going to work into 175. So AHMA up over 100%. It's about who we take off here. We're going to take off Mimi. We're just going to take off Mimi for now, but we're going to leave Mimi up on the side chart lest, it come back and reawaken from its demise into the volume-weighted average price. We're going to pause for a second. We're sending it back to Adara.
Couple minor things here on oil, nothing massive, but just want to provide you guys with a little bit of an update. We did have CNN reporting that according to a ship tracking company by the name of Kepler, they said that 9 commercial ships have crossed the Strait of Hormuz since yesterday, including 2 oil tankers that would be subject to sanctions. Now, again, this is worth noting because we know the U.S. said there's been a blockade since 10 a.m. yesterday. It does sound like there are still some ships getting through, so something I think that is maybe worth noting, just letting you guys know. Furthermore, we had some comments coming through from French Finance Minister Roland Lescure. Now, you might be like, how is this relevant? He's talking about Hormuz, and he's saying that this crisis must end within weeks, and that's really the only way that any kind of global economy shocks could be absorbed or avoided further. So again, we have Roland Lescure, Finance Minister of France, saying, hey, if we want the economy to recover from this, we have to end this Strait of Hormuz crisis quickly. Back to you.
Thank you for that, Adara. BYND into the day high. Here we go. Beyond Meat up almost 13%. Knocking on the door of 75 pennies, and there is 74.5. Katina Man opened the door. Katina Man, you might have to open that door at the dollar too, because BYND is on its horse. And look at this stair-step structure here. It almost looks like a staircase, right? You kind of get the initial breakout right at 930. Did bupkis in the pre, consolidates for a while. Gets into that area high, 940, doesn't break out again until 1055. So be ready to pack your patience. Does that same pop and consolidate again. Gets into that area high. We talked about 1055.11, consolidates until the breakout at 1210. So you're almost waiting an hour a pop here. Consolidation number 1, almost an hour. Consolidation number 2, pretty much an hour. And there it goes into another area high, 74.71. It looks like it's on its way to 75. Good look here for Beyond Meat. Just checking to see if there's any headlines on the day. Largest borrow rate increase among liquid names. No, is still a turnaround. Beyond Meat popped on Monday. Okay, moved yesterday. Why? After announcing nationwide rollout of Beyond Breakfast sausage lineup across Kroger, Sprouts Farmers Market, and Whole Foods, the launch follows a weak Q4 results and declining revenue. BYND has fallen 75% over the last year amid plant-based sector headwinds, with a market cap now of $304 million. Right now, it's $344 given the recent price pump, but looks like it's a continuation play for BYND. I got to tell you, the stair-step structure of the chart today looks a lot better than yesterday's, which was more diagonal. You're getting consolidation, pop, consolidation, pop. This feels like somebody's accumulating here,
Well, Sharif, it's beyond me, that's for sure. But I know what we got going on right now, and that is Tesla putting in a new high of the day. Katina, man. As the TQQQs, that's starting to rock and roll. 8.3% today here on TSLL. Tesla's starting to pick up. It was garbage for quite some time, but a nice, strong session. BYND starting to rally as well, too. I think this falls a little bit more in the meme realm, to be honest, the BYND. So I don't know. We have that catalyst. The Sharif was just bringing us the news, but on the grand scheme of things, this thing is, you got to kick it to the curb, essentially. I mean, I don't know, man. Some of you guys were talking about the Beyond Meat drink and stuff like that.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
I'll pass.
Yeah, we'll pass on that one for
There's
sure.
plenty
I think
of protein out there that we can drink, bro.
There's a lot of protein we can drink out there, Sharif. But essentially, there it is, BYND up to 74 cents. But TSLL, what? What did they say?
The effects that this guy's played, man. As soon as he goes on the 1s and 2s, I can tell it's him and not Assassino based on his selection. You didn't hear it in the ear?
No, you didn't.
I don't know. It was like a.
Oh, that one there. Yeah. So could you take a we got Jedi, the Jedi Master. Could you take a look at Netflix ahead of earnings? What's your opinion? Yeah, absolutely.
Flakes.
There's actually
the Flakes is back up above $100, man.
Yes,
106 and change.
Yes, sirree, Bob. NFLX. Yeah, I mean, this name, 106, my boy. Jeez.
Yo, bro, I was right about that whole sell-off. As soon as it ended, I changed my opinion. You know that. I said that to you. Yeah, you said,
no, you didn't.
And you looked at me, and I'm like, I can change my opinion. You're like, good.
Did I say no?
Yes, you did,
Are you making that up?
I saw my mother. I'm not making that up.
I believe you.
This guy.
So you change. So what? When you're at your lowest, you don't like it, but then when we start to climb.
No, you got to give me a reason to change my opinion. And that was a hell of a reason.
You know what Cardi
B
once said?
What did she say?
What was the reason?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
yes, that was actually really good.
All right, Fabian, man. We got Fabian this whole time had just our chart up there.
Yo,
not
I think
even
you
us.
and Cardi B are born around the same time. I'm not gonna lie.
I think
we're gonna find out right now.
I think she's an October
Cardi
baby, man.
B. Hold on, Joey. Not that close. 11th. Yeah, okay.
She's May?
No, she's October.
Oh, October, yeah. I was gonna say, I thought she was.
That's what I said. Close.
Hold on, we'll hit this here. We'll take a little bit more off on TSLL. At that highs, continuing to climb. We have the NASDAQ going higher. I don't think anybody on the floor is in this one. The TQQQs. No one around here is.
No. There's no guy on our left over here.
The way
he looked immediately at me.
Immediately.
Like, correct
Come
yourself
on, man.
immediately.
You know we in that, Katina. You know you're in it, brother. Just giving you.
There he is. Look at him. Move your head.
There he is. Yeah, exactly. No one around here in that. No one around here in that trade. Other than.
Let's, Fabian, if we can show Katina Man's chart for a second so he can kind of show the entry. There you go.
Bang!
Can I say something to you, Katina
All
Man?
day.
It annoys the hell out of me how you get always bottom wicks like that.
Yeah, I know.
That's very frustrating, brother. I know, but it literally
it's like the bottom of the pullback.
The bottom of the pullback. That's kind of what I'm saying there.
Annoys the hell out of us.
Annoys the hell out of us. We're exaggerating for effect.
Yeah.
But guys, BYND is not exaggerating here. It is into the day's high. It's above $0.75. It's at 76.50. And there hasn't been a red candle on the 5-minute chart since 11:55. It is almost 12:30. Everything is Greensville here. Watch out, topping tail candle now coming in a little bit, but BYND is breaking out. ARAI is also breaking out, Joey, into $1.37. And then you got a good bounce here on QBTX right off VWAP. That was clean. C-Cup is breaking down, and C-Cup could be a short here. So we're going to have a quick look here at the cup to see what the hell is going on with this one, because this was a failed, what's it called? Attempt at the higher high. I don't know why my chart's freaking out on me, but in any event, we'll get to when it's ready. AHMA, after that attempt at $0.75 is coming back down now into VWAP, so be on the lookout there. That could be a good pop as well. I don't know what's going on with my charts all of a sudden. They're fading. Oh, I think our data.
I didn't get it.
I'm good. I'm good. Now it's moving, but I thought it had a bit of a data drop there. All right, just take over for a sec while I fix
Yeah, absolutely.
Thanks.
I mean, it's just been one trade for us here today, and that's going to be this name, now up to 11.72. We took some out at 71. We're going to wait for maybe 75 and piece a little bit more out. Nonetheless, I mean, no other reason to put anything else as this is continuously cooking up. So a pretty good trade there. Katina Man in the TQs, that's been a banger. Shreve had some small cap moves as well today. But I want to kind of break down this Netflix trade. This is really nice. This is a big time recovery, and we talked about it in multiple tickers, whether it be the Googles or the Microsofts, Netflix here, and a couple other names that aren't coming to mind right now. But as soon as that trend broke, there's just you had that tailwind, and then sure enough, off to the races it goes. So you had the technical break, technical signal, and then you also had the catalyst based off of it, where they're just stepping out of that bidding war with Paramount Skydance. You sit on the backside of this trend, and then the stock hasn't looked back, right? Like you're down to a low of $75. And then you climb 41% from that level. And don't forget, we're getting close to that split date. We're not too far off of it when we split. It split and it was at like $100 or something like that. I think that was the split number or price. And then now you're climbing. This thing has no slowing down, it feels like right now. Just be prepared for a pullback and then a nice steady climb higher. There's no reason why I don't see that Netflix, a part of the other names, can't reach an all-time high, considering it is still down quite a bit, right? I mean, what was our previous high up there? $131. $24 off of that, 20%, still in bear market territory, but I think it has the potential to recover, especially leading into earnings report. Before we send it back to you, Sharif, I actually wanted to do this. I know Adara is going to release her earnings. She typically says what's going on in the week, but...
Oh, for earnings and stuff?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, there's going to be a whole bunch. It's already out. You can find it on XTV.
Sounds good. I think the big one, the two big names, I guess I should say, are going to be TSMC on Thursday morning and then also Netflix after the bell. It's going to be a big report, in my opinion. You have Alcoa, Charles Schwab also reporting. This morning we had JP Morgan, BlackRock, Citi, CarMax on that one as well. So a little bit of orderly price action stepping into this market, and this is what we want to see. So a pretty good look, in my opinion. What do we have next week? Come Monday, no available summary. So we'll find that out later. Oh, earnings. Still not really pulling up exactly what I want to see. What do we have for the larger names? I don't see anything really here. I don't know how accurate this is going to be anyway. So
let's go through this. I've got the Market Chameleon one is pretty good. We can go
pull that
through
up.
that. Yeah,
let's see what we got going on
in
the
here.
next couple
I think
of
I'm already logged in, so we should be good to go. Let's just see. Yeah, there we go. All right. There we go. Let's load this bad boy up, see what we got on tap for earnings this week. So today, after the bell, what do we have? We kind of a light bag, really nothing going on there. Let's see tomorrow before market open. Oh no, before market open, ASM freaking L. Okay, so this is one of my larger positions. I think this is now number 2 after Apple. Not planned that way, but because it just really, it rocketed up. So 15.14 is where we're trading right now on ASML. I don't know, man. The expected move here, plus or minus 6.4%. Previous move dropped 2.2, but we all know what it did in the days subsequent, so I don't really want to fixate on that next day drop. We also have Bank of America in the morning, Morgan Stanley, Progressive for those who are interested, PNC Financial, M&T Bank. We're going to get some of the KRE names, or the smaller mid-sized banks, M&T Bank, First Horizon. Those are all in focus tomorrow morning. After the bell tomorrow, kind of a light bunch again, JB, Hunt, Transport, home bank shares, so nothing really there. Let's see the 16th in the morning. We get Pepsi, Abbott Laboratories, Charles Schwab, Bank of Mellon, New York, U.S. Bank Corp. What else? Key Corp. Okay, so Jinko Solar, anybody that's interested in that name, that's an ADR, obviously Chinese. And then let's look at the aftermarket on the 16th. There it is. We get the flakes. So Netflix after the market on the 16th, and then you get Alcoa. So kind of a light bunch there.
You got go next week.
I'm just going to go to Friday in the morning. Truist, and then third Bancorp. Nothing really there. There's Ally Financial as well for anybody who says. Let's go Monday morning. Cleveland Cliffs, Bank of Hawaii, kind of a light bunch. Not really interested in that. Let's go aftermarket. Steel Dynamics. Yeah, these are all a bunch of light weights too. Zion Bancorp, Alaska Air. Kind of one of the smaller airlines there, Joey. Let's go the 21st before market open. GE Aerospace. Oh, no. UNH. RTX. Okay, so we have some heavy hitters. One for me here, Northrop Grumman. You got 3M, DR Horton, Halliburton. Okay, so then we get all the bigger names. Let's just go one more. After market on Monday, you get Intuitive Surgical, Chubb, Capital One, EQT, IBKR, we were talking about that, United Airlines, and they had a tie-up possibly today with American Airlines for a merger. And then, so we're right back in the midst of earnings season, man, and it's obviously going to be a very busy time around here, Adara.
So to let you guys know, we are getting some comments here on the state of the Strait of Hormuz, if you will. CNN reporting, citing a U.S. official that the U.S. Navy is not escorting any ships through the strait. What they've been doing, apparently, is communicating to merchant vessels that have not entered or exited Iranian ports, saying it's safe and encouraging for them to do so. So it sounds like there isn't so much escorting happening as more of like communication about the safety here. Again, not a ton of details, but just be aware. U.S. official apparently commenting on the strait situation as reported by CNN. Comments that just came through here as well. U.S. is not enforcing a full blockade, but they're only targeting ships that are entering and exiting along Iran's coastline.
Very interesting. Thank you very much for that, Adara. All right, we'll keep tabs on that. Yes, there's a lot of headlines, obviously, a lot oil related. We're going to keep you guys apprised of that because it is obviously very market relevant, Joey.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Nonetheless, let's see what else we got going on. How's this market reacting? I'll be honest, I don't love this price action from a strength standpoint in NVDA. Even though it's hard to argue the fact, it's just for some reason it's giving me that a little bit weak vibes. We are up to 195. It's pretty good. Like we're heading, I think this is the test. You have that dip into 165, and I think this is the test where you climb a little bit higher, right? Go and test this potential all-time high. I think that's going to be the narrative. It's just giving me those feels and everything that we had going on. Multiple tests, you break down eventually, you absorb the liquidity at 164, and then off to the races you go. Now up to 195 here, and you're only about 10% or so, 8.4% off of that all-time highs. And I think in the near future we're going to see one. Same thing with the NASDAQ and the SPY, unless ish really hits the fan. Then other than that, I think it's off to the races we go. Potential dip buys, you had the majority of the bigger names down 20+%, with the exception of Apple. Really, Microsoft has been getting destroyed. Tesla's been getting destroyed. Excuse me, Meta was absolutely getting wrecked as well. So recovery time, a nice rally here in the overall market. Nonetheless, guys, let's go over some of the tickers that you guys put some names in the chat. Make sure you get those votes in as well, too. We haven't made a poll in quite some time, so we can do that. We can set up a poll anytime, but we'll have a little fun. We'll see how, look at our man, Katina Man, climbing the ranks here in the stock portfolio tracker. Yeah, he's off to the races from dead last to fourth. Reminds me of a little somebody there, Sharif.
Who's that?
Me, remember last year? But I mean, there it is. Like CrowdStrike doing me really dirty, down 14% here. But it's just one name that's just rocking. He's up 60% here in Marvell Technologies, 44% to the downside in Big Bear AI, 13% in Eli Lilly. Sharif has two names now in the green, and 117% on Babcock and Wilcox for OB there. Adara, just waiting for Boeing to turn the tide here. I think it can. You're only down 6.5%. You have Oracle down 20%. Sorry, you're still up 20% on Oracle, and then Starbucks a nice 10% for you. Randy got ExxonMobil with 19%, and then Sharif, your Broadcom's up 7.9%, and then you also have Northrop that is up.
What's that other one?
Thermo Fisher?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're down 14% in that one. Yeah. Who's in dead last year? The chat not doing too good over there. Brando also, IREN, Tesla, and CEG. Yeah, I mean, that's a tough look. Mateo, Uber Technologies not doing him any favors. And Amrise, he's been telling me about that, a concrete company. And Alibaba, a tough pick there going with the Chinese ADR. And then Neil climbing the ranks up into that ninth spot with Freeport McMorman, 16.6% to the top side. And then you have Aero Environment down 47%. I don't know. I like where I'm sitting right now. I'm going to be honest with you guys.
Like it, eh?
Yeah. If CrowdStrike recovers, we're down 14%, and then JP Morgan, we're down 4.25%, roughly.
Bro,
not too bad, man.
All right, let's get some voting going on here, guys. What type of stock are you trading? You're going to hit 1 if you're trading my favorite, small cap gappers. Hit that 1. If you're a large cap trader, the Metas, the Googles, the Apples, the Teslas, like your boy Joey Opsh, you're hitting 2. If you like the futures, and I know SPY, IWM, TQQQs, SQQQs, not strictly futures, I get that, but for this case, we're gonna say number 3. If you're trading anything future related, I want you to hit 3. How about the crypto traders, my IBIT traders, my ETHA traders, even the spot traders? You're typing 4, and then the commodities traders. You like your golds, your silvers, your USOs. You gotta hit 5. Let's get the votes in now. Guys, and if you're on TikTok as well, you can vote. Like, everybody gets a say here, and I'm loving all the voting in the chat. Looks like most of you guys are large cap traders, but my heart is always warmed by the amount of small cap traders that we have, about 31%. 43, 44% large cap so far. Futures traders, they're also alive, about 22%. Crypto traders, though, barely making it off the bottom there, about 2.7%. And then the commodities traders, they're up nice here, about, let's say, close to 4% at the moment. So keep voting, guys. We won't end the voting. We've only done 142 seconds. Get into the chat. Type right now 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. It's on the screen. 1 for small caps, 2 for large caps, 3 for futures, 4 for crypto, and 5 for commodities. And we'll visit this one momentarily, and we'll see kind of where the tally is at. But for the moment here, guys, not really liking anything. Let's bring in the side chart and talk a little bit about what I just tried to do here. Just got stopped out of 2 trades, quick as you like. Still very positive on the day, but here's the deal. This one, ARAI, lost VWAP. I was looking for this one, Cool Brioche, to bounce off VWAP and try to make another attempt at 1 1/3. So I put it below the 1230 bar low, got stopped out at 117. Same look for HAMA. You kind of felt like this one tried to make another attempt at the high of the day at 173. Once it got into VWAP, I was like, okay, I'll give it to area low. It didn't hold. So if they hold, comes back in, we'll get back in. But for the moment, they're not setting up the right way. But SNAL may be trouble here in a good way, because SNAL is now giving us that old curl rounded bottom. So now let's set up here on SNAL. I'm going to look to take, yes, this much risk. Let's see where it would have to go. So I give it to, yeah, all right, that's good. Let's go ahead and put that in and see what we get in terms of share size there. Coming back in a little bit here on SNAL. You could give it to 105 VWAP. I don't think that that's the right thing for me. I'm going to go ahead here and take a shot, the old college try as they call it, and we're going to go right below the $0.25, see if we can kind of catch a bit of a bid on this one. Let's see what we can get. What do we get there? We got 37 showing 38s. Here's what my case on SNAL. Let me just make this case to you guys. So, bit of a bamboozler, right? Multiple halts, both up and down. And then it comes into that 110 area. For whatever reason, buyers were stepping in pretty aggressively above the volume weighted average price, above the $1 area, and they were stepping in at 110, 109. So now we're doing this rounding shape. We've reclaimed the 20, we've reclaimed the 10, but we are likely going to encounter some resistance, I would say, between $1.45 to $1.55. That's the gap from where we opened down. So that could be a very big area of intraday resistance. We'll have to wait and see, but I do like these patterns that hold a technical area and then start stair-stepping up with higher highs and higher lows, making that rounding pattern. So SNAL, we're involved. Let's see what happens with that. We're going to Adair at the big desk.
Bit of a headline here in the data center space for Microsoft. I'm just seeing this report and circulate here. Bloomberg reporting that Microsoft's going to be taking over some AI data center capacity in Norway. Now, this capacity was previously planned for OpenAI. Furthermore, Microsoft, in order, I guess, to support this takeover in Norway, they're going to be renting additional space from Nscale. So some data center headline here for Microsoft, nothing massive, but just wanted to let you guys know. Back to you.
All right. Yep. Yeah. Thank you for that, Adair. What are you looking at, Joey?
I'm trying to. I don't know what I got going on here, man.
I got 5 on it.
Now I lost what I was about to pull up here. That sucks. Anyways, aside from that, man, same narrative essentially for me and the boy. Just this one trade here today. I don't know if there's going to be other primetime opportunities. You don't want to chase all the way up here, even though this looks like. So we haven't even officially broken out yet of this resistance zone. If we get an open on top of this range, I think we can get a pretty solid session, unless it's going to be one of those breaks and then it comes back in, which could be the narrative. We've seen that on Netflix as well, but I think that's going to be a potential trade. If we head over to IBITS daily, take a look at where we're sitting. So we punch through, now we're starting to slowly climb higher, but you open up on the top end of the range, and that's the exact same strategy I'm going to be looking for on NVDA in the coming days. You have to be patient, wait for it, and then understand that, hey, it's literally two outcomes. It's either it's gonna go, as obvious as Captain Obvious over here, as it may seem, is that it's either gonna rip, put in a strong session, or it's gonna be a failed break. And if you have it on the higher time frame, I think the more conviction you can have behind that system. So I'm gonna be looking at NVDA in the coming days.
Did you know that they ended the PDT rule today?
Is that today?
Yes, as of April 14th.
Okay, good, congratulations.
Can you believe that?
No, that's good.
20 years of this hand-holding.
Congratulations, let us know there. That's great. I think that's great.
Yeah, it is. I think it's fantastic.
I wonder if that has, I'll be open. Yeah, I can't wait. Apparently it's gone now, Frank Trades. Really?
Yeah.
What? Yeah, so
Here's the deal. I'm going to read it out.
Yeah.
So the SEC has officially granted accelerated approval for the federal Rule 4210, which effectively eliminates a $25,000 minimum equity requirement and replaces it with a new intraday margin standard. Here's the breakdown of what's changing right now. So for over 20 years, you've needed at least $25,000 in a margin account to make more than 3 trades in a 5-day window. Under the new rule, finalized today, the fixed $25,000 threshold is gone. The designation of pattern day trader is being retired in favor of a risk-based model. So here's the new intraday margin system. So instead of a flat dollar amount, brokers will now use real-time risk monitoring. So here's how it works. Your buying power, quote unquote, will fluctuate based on the actual volatility of the stocks you are trading. The goal here is to allow traders with smaller accounts like 5,000, 10,000 to day trade, provided they aren't taking on excessive intraday risk as defined by their broker's new automated system. So the 90-day freeze, while the 25K requirement is gone, the discipline remains. If you create an intraday margin deficit, meaning you trade way beyond what your collateral supports and fail to satisfy it within 5 business days, your account will still face a 90-day freeze where you can only trade with the available cash you have. You won't be able to use margin. Interesting. And so even though this approved today, brokers need time. Major brokerages like Schwab, Fidelity, Robinhood, etc. have already begun updating their software, but most expect to flip late April into June. Okay, check your platform. You should see a notification in your trading app soon regarding new intraday margin requirements. Okay, just keep me updated on this, guys. We don't have that rule here, so we've never really had to care too much about that.
I wonder what that's going to do for the market. Like you could have a whole, new flush of retail traders stepping in.
I agree, and that was the point, right? That was the point. We'll see. We'll see how this all affects retail trade. But you're seeing more of a focus now, quite frankly, by the institutions on retail, whether it's at the IPO phase or whether it's trading related. For example, Elon, Altman, both allotting a percentage of the IPOs, the future IPOs for SpaceX and OpenAI, specifically and exclusively for retail.
Yeah.
And I do like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's always been the case where retail always gets, pushed to the side, looked to the side, in favor, of course, of institutions, because that's where the majority of the money is.
Maybe that wave is key, right? Like for the market, and then you can put in a potential leg, more participants. Hopefully it just doesn't go completely south and things start to turn around. But yeah, I mean, by the middle of the summer, who knows? Volumes could drastically pick up because you're just leaving so many people who don't have the ability to participate, holding that $25,000 threshold, start to step in and be like, all right, let's rock and roll.
My understanding was people were working around it. So they'd have multiple accounts.
You could go offshore brokerage.
You could go offshore. Either you didn't want to do that and risk, putting your money offshore. But my understanding was you could have like multiple accounts and then trade 3 trades within 5 days on this one, then another 3 trades. But that just creates all sorts of issues. Headline there, UN Secretary General Gutierrez, indications we have are. What does that mean? Indications we have are that it is highly probable that Iran talks will restart. All right, good news, man. Good news. We'll keep tabs on that. Taylor, data center and fiber optics play, LWLG up 7% today. Let's have a look. All right. Type this in. Light wave, eh? Okay. It's going to freeze on me, I can tell. Oh, good. All right. This is nice. It went red to green, so pretty aggressive sell-off at the open, right to 930. You can tell somebody was offloading that. Somebody else's garbage is another person's treasure. Right up we go. We go green on the day above that 1140 area. Intraday high just got printed moments ago, which is 1233. We are still below that aftermarket pop that we got yesterday, 625, the high of which was 1269. So let's talk about that 12.5 before we even start talking about 1269. But not a bad look here. LWLG, if you're inclined to this one, it's just basically been putting in higher lows and higher highs ever since that implied balance open right at 940. Gets a green candle, pulls back a little bit, and then off it goes. I'm in SNAL, and it's doing nothing here. I got in for this rounding pattern shape, but it looks like, there's a seller at 40. Kind of not an area I would have really earmarked for resistance, but one that's showing up nonetheless. On the 5-minute chart, we have 2 lower highs in a row. So I'd like to sort of break trend, get above $140, and then maybe we can start talking about that $150 touch. We'll have to wait and see. SNAL, big halter earlier on, still up 260%. Going away there.
Bit of a spark higher here in FORM, form factor. It's because there's a post here just came through from an ex-user by the name of Serenity, roughly 180,000 followers. Apparently this individual was a well-known Wall Street bets trader on Reddit, who is now also on X. Either way, this Serenity individual saying that FORM could be a decent long play if you're looking for exposure in the silicon photonics and wafer space. So FORM on watch, AEHR was also mentioned in this post, and TER. Back to you.
Serenity now, insanity later. You wouldn't know.
I wouldn't.
I know you're not about that Seinfeld life, but all the viewers who watch Seinfeld will know exactly what I'm talking about. Neil's got his headphones on, but yeah. Hey, Katina, man. What was that guy's name, man? Serenity now, insane later. He was like George's competition. George's mom loves him, and George hates him because George's mom is obsessed with this guy. What the hell is this guy's name? We need somebody to give me his name immediately. Come on. Not George, Tony. The other guy, George can't stand
my boy.
Not Newman. Come on, guys. It's not his dad either. I know he was working with his dad, but that's not who the guy that said that line was. Yes, Lloyd Braun, JK2 all the way. Yes, absolutely. Lloyd Braun. Dewey got it as well. Yeah, you don't care. Look at this guy is booing, man. Unbelievable. You can't let anybody else enjoy, huh?
I let you enjoy all the time. I've been hearing about Bloom Energy all morning. What are you talking about?
All right, man. Lloyd Braun's doing his thing, man. He's made it to the show. He's on the big time now.
All right, Lloyd.
We got about 10 minutes or so, give or take, before we start the news. We got Sia. She's locked and loaded. I'm still in this trade here on SNAL. BYND is also pulling back in a bit, guys, here off that 77.02 high. Talking pennies, not dollars, of course. Coming back into about 73. It's lost the 10. It's lost 75 pennies, and it's on the way to 73, it looks like. But I don't see support, to be quite honest with you, until about 72. Now, that's the breakout level, but it also now is the volume-weighted average price, so happy accident there. We're going to be looking for a bounce off 72 if it does make it down there, but that's a pretty aggressive retracement on BYND here, Joey. So I'll send it to you because I don't really have much. Oh, we're going back to Adara.
Yeah, just be aware here, guys. U.S. bouncing a little bit off the lows, nothing massive. I did just see a headline, though. U.S., according to two unnamed U.S. officials, the U.S. will be allowing the temporary waiver of sanctions on Iranian oil to expire as of this week. Now, apparently, this expiration for the 30-day waiver is going to be expiring on April 19th. That would be removing that temporary measure that helped some oil reach global markets during the war. So, again, that sanction waiver is going to end April 19th, according to these reports. Back to you.
All right, yeah, good stuff, man. I was just trying to read what Eric said there. In Spanish, I could pick a little bit of a part, but not all of it. So I'm not going to read anything. But something about Jeff Bezos and the CIA. All right, guys. Yeah, let's see what we got going on. Bitcoin giving back the majority. So we had that breakout, that daily technical breakout, now starting to head towards the low. A nice bounce up here into VWAP. Fails to put in a new high. You can see this move right here. Sure enough, boom, you break through that pivot, lower high, and then now you're starting to head a little bit lower. So let's keep an eye on it. Tesla's starting to curl over, but then you have this big dog over here at 194.63. You now surpassed that other supply zone that we were talking about not too long ago. Actually, oh no, we tapped right into it, the high of 194.94. So we couldn't break through it just yet. Let's head back there to see if it's grown in size. I don't think it needs to. I just want to look at the open interest leading into the earnings report. I think that's such an important factor of where you can potentially head. Obviously, the options don't have any form of a play, but there's a little trick, a trick of the trade that I learned a while ago from an individual here on the floor. And I remember there was a scenario, he's like, oh man, I got wrecked on this contract. But I'm like, dude, why didn't you just do what you taught me? You want to know what the trick is, Sharif? What? So, you can't trade options in the post-market or in the pre-market. So if you were going to go the options route, and I've said it multiple times before. So say you're going to buy a call before the close, leading into the report, the stock rips in your favor. You're like, oh, nice, I have all these profits. You want to lock it in right now. You're not willing to risk any more of what of the gains that you have. What you can do if you have the capital is you're holding this one NVDA call option. What you can do is essentially sell shares, so you can go into the post market, sell shares, and lock in that position's realized gains essentially, right? Why? Let me explain. How does that work, Joe? Well, you have this one contract. It's long shares essentially. Bang, no problem. You want to lock it in. You sell shares against it. So essentially what happens is if the stock starts to drop, the short shares start to realize a profit while where your long contract is losing some. And you can do the inverse of that as well, too. That's really smart. That's a little trick of the trade and where, you need the capital, 1,000%. It's not usually, if you have that cash, then by all means, you can do that. But if you're looking to lock in money for maybe some of the cheaper ones in the post market, you can just sell or buy shares against that position.
All right, man. We're got out of the SNAL position, so we'll take a 6-penny loss on that one. I'm back into ARAI. It's holding VWAP. It's stair-stepping up again. We're going to keep a tight stop on this one. Below VWAP, it ends the trade. I mean, there's only been one wick that went below VWAP, and that was a 1240 candle. So we'll keep a close eye on this one. I got 24s on. Oh, here comes back down into 21. Let's see if it gets bought up. We're going to keep a close eye on that. But I also want to mention AHMA is making yet another move, guys, here. So this one, it did lose VWAP. And quite frankly, it's still, on a bit of a lower high trend. If you draw that trend line, let's see if there's a decided break above the 50-penny area. And here it comes, 148. As we're speaking about it, it looks like it might be breaking out into that 150 area. But we still have a long way to go to that 173 because that 173 is the high of the day. But HAMA needs to be, there it is. Needs to be on your radar here if you're small cap gapper inclined. I've got really nothing on it at the moment until it clears up that 150 and shows me a decisive break in trend. The trend being, of course, lower highs. So that is my look there. Yeah, that's really all I got, man. Keeping an eye on BYND as well. Where the hell is it? Show yourself, BYND. But this is coming in pretty aggressively, guys. And this is what we were talking about. That 72 penny area could be money. That's the volume weighted average price. It's also the breakout level from earlier. So this one gives it back in a hurry. We'll see if buyer step in at around VWAP or not. If it makes that first 5-minute candle to make a new high, I'm game. But until then, it's basically uninterrupted in terms of lower highs since that 77.02 candle at around 12:30. So that's my look there. Nothing to do on that one other than wait. Shout out to Cool Brioche saying REPL is making a move. Let's look at Repel. Who that, Katina, man? REPL. Look at that. Oh, 18 4/5 and a nice stair step up, right? This is not bad. Cool Brioche, you've been smashing them lately. I like that. Oh boy. Hey lads.
Uh-oh.
No, we can't say uh-oh. We got to do a different one for Adam James.
Okay. But I want you to hold on before you read it.
Buenos dias, amigo.
Yeah. Translate
Buenos
that
dias. You don't think I don't know what buenos dias means? Good morning, guys. Come on, bro.
Just making sure, man.
Amigos. Bottle job, AFC. I hate this guy, bro.
Why?
You know what bottle job is?
No.
Means like you fumble. So you were in pole position to win the Prem, and you bottled it. So you screwed it up.
You messed it up.
Very British.
Very British.
Killing me, bro. Adam. Good vibes, but it's hard being an Arsenal fan, man. Let me just tell you that it is. Yeah, okay, Miss United fan over there.
Okay.
He is a United fan, guys.
Okay.
That's all I can say about that.
Okay.
And Neil's a Liverpool fan. That's all I can say about
and then
that.
Argentina, if we're talking about World Cup wise.
You like Argentina?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, I can
Technically, I'm
definitely
forced to like Argentina because of someone, but I actually support Portugal.
Who is that someone, Sia?
Just my partner. He does not like that I support Portugal at all.
He doesn't. Why?
Why?
He does not like Ronaldo. He likes Messi.
my
Days. Okay, that's fair. That's fair. I can see how that could be a heated
Yeah.
discussion. Yes.
Ronaldo.
Many friendships have been lost over.
You think so?
Who's the GOAT? No, I don't. But we have to exaggerate for effect.
Who is the GOAT?
Huh?
Who's better?
Okay, you want the honest truth?
Yeah.
They're both fantastic in different ways.
Yeah,
One,
yeah.
Messi's gifted. He's clearly gifted. He doesn't train nearly as much as Ronaldo. And if you're talking
That's
about
the thing, work ethic. That's
exactly,
what I'm hearing.
Ronaldo's
right?
is work ethic is crazy.
I think that's like the Sidney Crosby, Alexander Ovechkin comparison.
A party B and you're a Gunners fan. Say that again.
It's like the Sidney Crosby, Alexander Ovechkin
Sidney
comparison.
puts in the work.
Sidney
Ovechkin's
puts in the
gifted.
work. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I can respect that.
Yeah.
It's not his fault he's gifted. He's just really good. All right, 1 o'clock. See ya. Which story are we talking about first?
We're talking about Tesla first. So Tesla has been upgraded from a neutral to sell by UBS analyst Joseph Spack, and now the price target has been raised to $352. Currently, the stock is up 3.61%. What I'm seeing here is that UBS is seeing a more balanced risk or reward set up after the recent pullback that is 21% low year to date. So now what does the stock reflect now? Near-term EV demand weakness and a long-term upside from physical AI, that is robo-taxis and all as we know it. So weak EV demand trends is still an ongoing concern, especially, as you guessed it right, Europe and in China. UBS still views Tesla as a leader in the physical AI space, not just in the EV space. Robotaxi and automation platform is still seen as a major long-term monetization driver by the analyst. And as we know it, the long-awaited Tesla Q1 earnings will take place April 22, post-market.
So a couple of things first caught my attention today. I felt like this was like a begrudgingly, or like they didn't really want to upgrade this stock from sell to neutral. That's the first thing. Second thing is, their reasons for upgrading it. Yeah, sure, they still see robotics and autonomy as major catalysts, but it's like, hey, this has pulled back so much, we can no longer justify the sell rating on it, hence why we're going to neutral. So it feels like an upgrade that they were forced into. What really caught my attention, though, is that they're expecting Q1 of this year, their energy segment to actually miss And if you've been watching Tesla's earnings as of late, you know, I won't say the past year or so, energy division, whether it's batteries or actually solar panels, generation itself, have been one of their fastest growing segments. So why they're expecting it to miss is a bit of a mystery. I didn't see it in the report, but that definitely caught my attention, Joey. What do you think about that?
Didn't we just have a report not too long ago when we were talking about deliveries? They brought up the energy segment and said that it was growing.
Yeah, that's exactly.
So I don't know if it's going to miss. We'll have to wait for that report. As Shreve mentioned, it is one of its strongest growing segments, and you're starting to see that exponential growth within that particularly. I think it's going to continue to grow. There's no reason for it to slow down. As for the upgrade, there's multiple things going for it. But, I mean, listen, I don't know. I'm not going to say that I crap on Tesla, but I just try to look at it for what it is. Only a couple of models, different variations of it, losing market share left, right, and center. But there's a couple of names, and I've heard multiple analysts say it and classify this. AV, from the autonomous aspect, is one of the purest plays that we can have right now, I think, along with Palantir. This is what's going to be driving this name in the future. You have the AV segment, you have the RoboCab, the Robotaxi, whatever you'd like to call it, and then obviously Optimus. We're not reporting on those numbers just yet, and that's why it might take a little bit longer. But when it does, I think, so this is what I know. Optimus is going to take a lot, in my opinion. I think it's going to take a lot more to catch on than what the autonomous vehicles are going to. I think that that's going to grow at an absolutely insane rate, especially when you get regulatory clarity in different jurisdictions. So in my opinion, what we have right now makes just a car company, energy storage essentially, but what we have in the future is a pure AI play, and I think that's what we have to remain forward looking on the stock.
And SNAL is going to halt up, guys. 148 halt parameter showing here. This needs a few more seconds, I think, then we're going to halt 148. We're halted on SNAL on the way up. It's a 180 high. We're a smidge below, though, that 150. So we're going to keep an eye on the top. It's already showing 151. Let's see how this one opens. Good look here for SNAL, up a little bit less than 300%. Let's get Adara's take on Tesla.
Yeah, my take is less on Tesla specifically and more. It's kind of interesting. UBS didn't just weigh in on Tesla today, Sharif, but also weighed in on Ford. So Ford here getting an upgrade as well with a $15 price target. This also traded higher. And this trend kind of continued too because we got Deutsche Bank weighing in positively on GM. As of this morning, these three were the only green names in a big way in that consumer discretionary sector, specifically with the automobiles. So I think nice sectoral play. It makes sense you'd get two names upgraded by the same analyst on the same day. That makes sense in the same sector, like UBS with both Tesla and Ford. But the fact that GM got the nod from Deutsche Bank today, too, I found an interesting little trend. So I just wanted to mention that Tesla's not the only upgrade in that auto space on watch.
Very much for that, Adara. You have any other comments you want to make?
No, again, I think we're the purest play, man. I think it's one of the pure plays. I really want to see the rollout. I think Optimus is going to be a little bit tougher for the average consumer to kind of grasp and take on, right? Because it will probably be higher end.
Yeah.
What is the truer use case of it? Like, you really need to get the hardware down, right? The software maybe be there. The hardware is going to need lots and lots of work. But I think it's just the cab is what we're.
I'm going to put this to you. 2030. 2030, so 2.5 years from now, give or take.
Yeah.
Sorry, 3.5 years.
3.5, yeah.
Is Optimus in, say, 1% of U.S. households, 0.5% of U.S. households? Does Optimus proliferate en masse by the end of the decade?
Listen, if this thing is a high-quality product and it's like, hey, it's really doing some of the tasks that you don't have the ability to do, then yes. If that's
so
not
it's
the
not
case,
going to be a novelty item then. It's not going to be I'm stunning. I want you to come over and check out my robot.
No,
it's like get the new iPhone, which does the exact same thing as the iPhone before.
Well, that would be the 1%, right? Like the 1% of the individuals, the higher end. Like you go over to that individual who's doing well for themselves. You see that within their household. Will he come out with cheaper versions to have a larger addressable market?
Great point.
Right? I think he will. He will. Right? So I mean. I think it's maybe I'll be a little bit older, but I think the next generation, it might be one of those novelty items where you see it in the day-to-day household.
It looks like the chat's like absolutely no. Wendy's Tendies, no. Hot Doggy, not a chance. Jesse Martinez, hell nah. Wendy's Tendies, I think they're cool, but I ain't buying a bot anytime soon. Jeff at home, robots already mass adopted in Asia? Not like that, though. Not the ones that like go into your house and do stuff for you. That's what we're talking about. Ram wants one. I like it.
No,
there
she wants Wendy's tendies, man.
Oh, she wants Wendy's
chicken
tendies.
She wants chicken fingers.
Yes, well, that's not surprising.
What do you think? So are you getting one?
If I can afford one, I would love one.
I believe the majority of the individuals in this, the majority of the people in this room would get one.
I think so. We're going to look over the guys for a second. Tina Man, assuming that it's a reasonably priced item. No. Neil.
Neil's locked in.
Yeah, he's got his head. Assuming Optimus is a reasonably priced item, let's just say below 15 grand. Yes or no for an Optimus at home? Eventually, yeah.
Okay. Now, how about the individuals behind us?
Let's send it to Sia and Adara. Let's see what they think.
Yeah.
No.
No?
No.
No.
I don't want a robot, nor do I need a robot.
Yeah.
I walk everywhere. I do everything myself. I prefer that. I don't want to have to rely on a robot. I don't even want to rely on the bus.
That's so true. Yeah, I don't need machine replacing
No robot
me
for
in
me.
any way, shape, or form.
Okay, you don't need a dishwasher.
I think you can
No,
have
listen.
so much
You
more
don't, like,
time
so think about it.
expansion.
So what's in the majority of a house? Dishwasher, but you use it,
Yeah?
right? You don't need. You could. No, it's not. Okay, so that's where you're standing, is that you think that these robots are going to take over the world, like iRobot.
Well, they may.
But Adara, hold on, you wouldn't get an Optimus, but you would get a robo-taxi, am I correct?
No, I wouldn't get a robo-taxi either. I've considered the possibility of looking into the self-driving, but even then, I still think I'd fall asleep. Though I did talk to my second cousin who has Model S, which I know is not a thing anymore, but she said the FSD is so good, it like knows if your eyes are closing, and it can wake you up. So if I were to do anything, I would not do the robo-taxi. I would have to have some modicum of control, or at least the ability to control it. That being said, like, the idea of driving and falling asleep is reasonable.
Yeah, but if you get there, you don't have to. There's no steering wheel in the cats.
But then I can't control the robo-taxi. That's exactly my point. If it goes off steer, I can't be like, oh my God, I still don't trust it 100%. I like to have some modicum of control, or the ability to control in a situation that goes bad. I want to have to open the door and run out. I want to pull a ladybird here. I'd rather just be in the situation where I can hold the steering wheel.
All right, fair enough.
Yeah, I think those are all very valid points from both of them, but I disagree with everything. I would have a robot, and I'd have a robo-taxi, and I'd reclaim my time to do other things, which is, right now, in this part of my life, a blessing, because I have no time.
To be honest with you, I couldn't disagree more either. Like, if I don't have to touch a steering wheel again, I'm cool with that.
Same,
I'll
bro.
sit in traffic all day if I just get to sit back, kick back, and relax. You can't.
All right. Katina Man's like, buy one now.
I can only afford the robo-taxi, $30,000. Yeah, I can't get in there in the full-time traffic.
You get a used Model 3, says, for a good amount there, yeah. All right, we have another big story here, Sia, about Amazon.
Definitely, we do have a big story here. So Amazon is eyeing Globalstar deal as the satellite race heats up. So AMZN reportedly nearing a deal to acquire Globalstar as of this morning. Globalstar, GSAT, is valued around $9.37 billion, and AMZN has signed an $11.57 billion deal for the company, as reported by Reuters today. No official confirmation yet. Both the companies have not commented, but this deal can definitely strengthen Amazon's Project Leo, which was earlier Project Kuiper, satellite ambitions, and prove to be a very strong competitor for Elon Musk's Starlink. Another reason for this is that Apple has already invested up to $1.5 billion in Globalstar, and the goal is to build a space-based Wi-Fi network with 3,000 plus satellites. Now, this structure includes $1.1 billion funding for satellites, $400 million for a 20% coming from Apple, 20% stake in the new satellite entity, and Apple remains a passive investor with no position on the board, but Globalstar's stock has tripled in 12 months. Currently, Amazon up by 4% and Globalstar up 10%.
If you've used the new text message feature on the new iPhone, I think they've had it for a couple of generations now, where it sends messages via satellite. That's what it's using. It's using this Globalstar, their systems. And This is just another kind of company coming at the same thing that Starlink is coming at, the same thing that Project Kuiper and Amazon Leo is coming at. So I see this more as industry consolidation, and I don't necessarily think it's a bad thing. I think it's going to be fantastic for us as consumers to be able to have internet wherever we go, not just locked into these terrestrial towers. But as I said about this story last time, is this disruptive to telecom companies? Are the telecom companies a short here?
Absolutely. They're falling behind. They're lagging in the technology. I mean,
and you said to me last time, you're like, well, what if they partner with them? Like, for
that's
example,
what you would have to do.
And exactly, why would these companies want to partner with telecom? The only reason I can think of is to get access to their already existing user accounts, right? Rather than having to sign up everybody.
That would be the big thing, right? It's kind of like what Uber's doing. It's like, hey, you be the middleman. Hey, we have this massive customer base. Let's get involved together so that you have more people signing up with that specific service. Now, first things first. You know who owns 20% of this company?
Apple.
Apple.
I know that.
So, I mean, listen, this is going to be a direct competition to what Starlink. But Starlink is way ahead of what these guys are releasing, and they're kind of delayed. They've been prolonging the release of their satellites into orbit, so they're not going to hit their quota by the end of the year. But if they do play catch up, this is massive for the telecommunications service.
I think this is fantastic. Just having used it just like a week ago, it is that good. You don't really feel the difference between being at home and on Starlink. Now, having said that, they do block certain websites. So when you're on there, for example, not that I was trying to access my IPTV or anything like that to watch the Arsenal game on the airplane, but it blocked me. It wouldn't let me do it, even though I used a VPN. So they get really tricky with it. All the while, they allow you to stream off YouTube. So I didn't really understand what the hell is the difference, bro. I'm taking data from YouTube. What do you care if I'm taking data from somewhere else? Data is data, but in any event.
I hate how all those years ago, Apple, you know how you can't drop down to YouTube and listen to YouTube on the side?
Yeah,
like you have
remember that?
Yeah,
you have to get the YouTube premium app. I have, but I don't pay for it. It's my buddies. So in any event, that's our little take there. What are we talking about next, Sia?
We're diving into Meta. So Meta is set to overtake Google in digital advertising revenue. Now, Meta is projected to surpass Google in total digital ad revenue by 2026, and it's expected to generate $243.46 billion in this year by ad revenue alone versus the $196.17 billion in 2025, which is a 24% increase year over year. Now, Google forecast at $239.54 billion in 2026 versus $214.606 billion in the prior year, which is again a 12% increase year over year. And Meta is projected to capture 26.8% of global digital ad spend, and Google slightly behind at 26.4% ad share. Now, Meta's Advantage Plus automated ad suite has been gaining strong advertiser adoption. Why? I'll tell you, because the platform's ability to streamline campaign setup and enhance the return on marketing spend is astronomical. Amazon continues to grow, expected at $82.07 billion in ad revenue, which is again a spike 19% year over year with a 9% share. And Meta, Google, and Amazon will control 62.3% of global digital ad spend, which increases industry concentration. So the takeaway from this story is that advertisers are seeing better ROI, driving incremental budget shifts toward Meta. And Google still is growing, but at a slower pace versus Meta. Meta up 4.3% and Google 3.56 currently.
Yeah, look at Google, man. Right back into the mid threes here. 330, 332 on GOOGL.
It's like 5% off its high.
Yeah, what a recovery. That just got hit really hard lately. Look, what stood out to me here was not that, well, I mean, the first thing that stood out to me was Meta's going to overtake Google. That's obviously a big development. But we also know that Google's revenue is much more diversified. 97% of Meta's revenue comes from digital ad sales. So there's very much concentration risk there. That's the first thing that really stood out to me that they're going to take over as a number one. The number two thing, though, was I didn't think that Amazon had that kind of market share. Now, we know Amazon's ad sales are growing. We saw that in their last earnings report. We also commented about the fact that it's like high 80s, low 90% gross margins on these digital ad sales. So it's a huge revenue driver, and it's also starting to, I don't want to say overshadow AWS. It really doesn't, it hasn't, but it's inching in there because number one, the margins are comparable, and now the headline number is also comparable to AWS. So what did you take from this whole thing?
Well, I mean, I think we both stand in the same. We're sitting in the same boat there, Sharif. We know that what Meta has is extremely concentrated, but it's such a powerhouse. It's essentially not even close. You have some. Obviously, you have Google right behind it now, but just the power of Instagram and the social media platforms that Meta has the ability to take from and essentially generate this revenue is going to continuously grow. You have the diversification within Google, cloud being probably that next big thing, even though it currently is. It's probably going to surpass. I don't know if it'll ever surpass digital ad, but essentially at the end of the day, the diversification within Google is the important thing, but what Meta has is something you need to look for that next platform that's going to overtake Instagram, and I don't see anything along those lines in the pipeline. Like, okay, other than and we also forget about YouTube from Google as well too, right? So I think that's a big part of it. You have search, and then you have YouTube, which is an absolute money machine essentially. But there's so many users on Instagram, and then you have Facebook or Meta Facebook as well too, and then Threads. So there's multiple streams, even though it seems concentrated. There's multiple platforms that you can get.
That's actually a good point.
And then WhatsApp as well too.
Yeah. What took me kind of a little bit by surprise here was, well, not by surprise. It's what you and I have been talking about. We've been talking about the runway, right? Meta wants to spend 130 to 160 billion, I think, give or take, in CapEx in 26. And we've always been making the argument that the Microsofts, the Amazons, and the Googles could see a shorter term runway for that CapEx monetization because they're basically going to offer it vis-a-vis their clouds, neo-cloud offerings, and whether they're going to integrate all their AI aspects into cloud. Whereas Meta has to rely exclusively on generating new revenue from that advertising.
Absolutely.
So to me, it's
we're already seeing it in Amazon. We're already seeing like, hey, these guys are starting to make a little bit of money vis-a-vis their spend on essentially everything by AWS as well. Just the token, just the power for compute essentially. But what I'm getting at is, do we see in the future from Mark Zuckerberg, he has all of this spend that do you see Meta coming out with the cloud division? Like, why would he not do that? Is essentially like, why not rent out your space?
You got a great point. I don't know the answer to why not.
Like,
but I just don't see. He hasn't really. He's done the physical thing where he's trying to get into the physical devices. We haven't seen him at all.
Dude, Reality Labs has been at a net loss for how long?
The Meta glasses is obviously out there. I mean, it's multiple generations now that have been out there. So he's obviously got a physical product push. And the reason, I think, is because he hates Tim Cook and he hates Apple.
Yeah,
because they restrict his ability to innovate inside the app. And so he wants to control the hardware, hence why he's pushing into that. I haven't seen ambitions from him, correct me if I'm wrong, chat, to want to go into cloud. But just let me get Ichiro's comment here pretty quick. Ichiro says, so many TVs have Amazon built in and everyone buys those TVs because they're so inexpensive. That is actually a great point. I think that that's one of the reasons as well, that people were a little bullish on Roku and whatnot.
So what I was going to say is, but like, what we've seen in the past is that Zuckerberg's hardware segment is not going to be substantial or put in a dent into what Apple has established. We know that. Like,
it's not good.
It's not good. So why wouldn't he do a strategic pivot and be like, hey, if you really want to compete with Google, Amazon, and Azure, why would you not start to establish? And he's spending more money than all of them.
He's spending like pretty much.
So why would you not kind of like maybe throw that out there, right?
I see your point. Yeah.
I know don't, but anyway.
No, I do. I legitimately do see your point. I don't know what the reason why he's not spending money. I have no idea. He's just trying to stay in his moat.
Like, what are you gonna come out with? Like Muse Spark? Cool, bro.
All right, Dara, give us your take.
Yeah, I find this one interesting because it's always interesting sometimes to me how news kind of disseminates. So this visual from Wall Street Journal was flying around all day yesterday. This is from the original article. So this came out like 7 a.m. on the dot yesterday. It was on my watch list yesterday morning, the Trader TV Live watch list. So it's interesting that I think it only really gained traction in visual form. I think people were less talking about the actual content and more just, oh, how cool it looks to see Meta surpass Google. I think A, this is going to be a longer term catalyst, and B, I don't think the market necessarily cares. Like I said, I'm seeing a lot of stock accounts circulate these, making their own versions. I think, again, it's something that looks cool. I think it's a good talking point. Do I think it's a market catalyst in the near term? Absolutely not. Do I think it could be one in the longer term? Potentially, but I think we need to actually see some of those numbers. We haven't even had Q1 of 26 yet for these companies, let alone Q4 27. So I think take your time, wait, see if this is something that bears out. As of right now, again, from an intraday near-term perspective, does not seem to be one that the market is super excited about beyond how cool it looks on a visual.
Thank you very much for that, Adara. And I just wanted to point out, you guys are all talking about Micron, and it has just gone to the day high, 453.26. This thing is on its horse. Is this all-time highs?
Close. 470.
We're pretty close, yeah. We're about what are we, Joey? 4.5% off all-time high. So we're pretty close. That was printed back on the 18th of March. So Micron, killing it today. Keep your eye out on that if you're large cap gapper inclined. What are we talking about next, Sia?
Oil, Sharif. We're talking about oil. Oil pullback. There's demand destruction. Oil prices have been pulling back after the recent surge tied to the conflict between the U.S. and Iran. USO is currently down almost 4%. WTI down around 8%. Brent is up 3.18% currently. Now, according to the latest monthly report from the International Energy Association, that is the IEA, released on Tuesday, the world is currently grappling with the largest disruption to oil supplies in history. Now, the IEA has warned that demand destruction will spread, and global oil demand is now forecasted to contract by 80,000 BPD this year, and there is an expected 1.5 million BPD demand drop in Q2 of this year, and this is the sharpest since COVID-19. We are seeing early signs of demand slowdown in the Middle East and in the Asia-Pacific regions currently. The weakness is concentrated in jet fuel, LPG, petrochemicals, more specifically naphtha, which is used to make gasoline and certain kinds of paint. Now, it is important to understand that the key takeaway from this is that high prices are starting to reduce consumption globally. And the conflict has caused the largest oil supply disruption in history, again, according to the IEA, and March has seen the largest monthly spike price ever. So what is the market dynamic here? Tight supply versus a collapsing demand expectation. Now, if there are fresh reports that are suggesting that the U.S.-Iran negotiations can resume this week, as we heard about it earlier this morning. So if there is any progress made in this area, we will see an immediate downside pressure on crude, and the markets will move as you know it.
I'm kind of surprised to hear that this is the biggest shock to the supply ever. I thought the 1970s with the Arab oil embargo would have been worse, but I wasn't around then, so I don't know. That caught my attention immediately on this story. The other part is, by the way, guys, the meeting between the Lebanese ambassador, the Israeli and Lebanese ambassadors hosted by Secretary of State Marco Rubio has ended after more than 2 hours. That's being reported by Axios, because obviously it is relevant here. What else did I have my key takeaways here? Do you think demand destruction for oil? I know it's bad, obviously, for the oil companies, your Exxons, your Chevrons, your Occidentals, whatever. Mm-hmm. Do you think it's bad for consumers, though, if there is demand destruction? I personally don't. Less people are driving, that means prices are lower. Or less people are using gas, prices are lower.
Other forms of transit.
Other forms, switching to possibly hybrids, electric vehicles get back in fashion. I don't know.
And how many, you got to ask yourself, like in a major city like this, how many people have said, you know what, screw this, I'm not paying for gas right now. Let's take the TTC or the GO train, right?
Absolutely.
So is there ways that it can hinder the economy? Absolutely. But does it boost it in other segments that you may not think of right away?
Well, I can tell you, I can just speak for myself. Mm-hmm. There was definitely demand destruction for me to drive to work because of the pathetic traffic that we have in the city, especially from where I'm coming from. It's really, it takes me 10 or 12 minutes to get down and 45 minutes to go home.
Yeah.
So to me, that destroyed my desire to want to drive to work.
But if we talk about demand destruction, remember in 2020, there was essentially think about this, city had no vehicles on the street at some point.
Absolutely, man.
Right?
And gas was like in negative territory. So yeah, all right. I think, we've all heard enough of these oil stories as of late, but it is obviously important because it's still making moves. What are we talking about next, Sia?
It's Bitcoin time. So Bitcoin has been moving higher as broader risk sentiment has improved. So after following signals that the United States and Iran could resume peace talks, even as the naval blockade remains in place, this is the reason for the moving higher. Now, what are we seeing with regards to the market here is that it's reacting to the possibility that tensions may ease, which would reduce oil pressure and support global growth expectations. The move is in line with the strength in equities globally, particularly in the Asia region. Now, Bitcoin has pushed for a 4-week high near the 74,000 range, but ETH has also joined this race move, climbing towards 2,300, which is indicating a broad-based crypto strength over an isolated BTC flow. So since late February, BTC alone is up 10%.
Heard Assassino. And we did get above that March 17th high, but barely. We're off the highs. The high today, 76,329. By the way, SNAL halted up. SNAL just got halted up, guys. So we are above that level. What I want to see, what are you looking for? A decided break above 80, or are you looking for reclaiming of that 85,000 shelf? Because look how long.
Can you zoom out a little bit?
Look at this 85,000 shelf over here. This was held pretty strictly. That's 85,000 right there. Yeah. So there's a bit of a gap between where we're getting resistance here, like let's just say 75.
Draw a trend line from our peak high.
Sure. You want that? You want the percentage off?
No. I just want us to go from all those pivots. Is through the low.
I see.
Has it breached?
A little bit. I wouldn't go ahead and call that a breach, but yeah.
You want to see that hold?
I like it. I personally want to see us work back into 85. If we can get into that 85 level and start dancing around there, then you kind of feel like we may be getting into that support level. But I think there is a bit of a chasm here between the 75 area and 85. Now, obviously, we do have resistance back from, I want to say, April of last year into 75, hence probably why we're rejecting this area. But, I mean, I'm done looking for reasons why crypto is running. We do have that possible tailwind with the Clarity Act back in focus. Well, what's his name? I think it was Scott Bessent last week.
What did he say?
That was trying to basically push the Congress to start trying to pass the Clarity Act, which obviously would be good for crypto in general. But I don't really have any other opinions on crypto at the moment until I see some better technicals. How about you?
I think, I'm in the exact same boat. I mean, I didn't think this was necessarily going to be the narrative in which we experienced, especially that pullback from 126,000 down to 60,000, essentially, the high 60s or whatever it was. I mean, there might be a little bit of fear within the space as well, too, Sharif. We had that early October liquidation event and some more following that as well, too. So you might have to wait for that next wave of participants. But we also have to take into consideration the fact that we're sitting in pretty much right at the halfway point of the 2024 halving cycle. Right, the next one going to be in 2028. Typically, some bearish territory. We've seen 70% pullbacks in Bitcoin before. So, I mean, this is relatively healthy speaking. You don't hit that area, right? You don't hit that specific mark of 70% plus. But then what happens as you reduce the block reward? Okay, so that's going to be coming in 2028. Is that demand leading into that halving going to be where you see that exponential growth within Bitcoin? We had multiple analysts, including Tom Lee himself, saying $250,000 on this thing. Michael Saylor was saying $250,000. You're going from rewarding a Bitcoin to one and a bit.
And there's a lot of people saying $250,000. It wasn't even just the maximalists.
No, exactly. There's a lot of people saying $250,000. Okay, so it wiped a lot of people out. But I think that's something that we really need to take into consideration is the fact that the reward it's literally going to be half that.
Let me come at you in a different way here.
Okay.
I want to throw you a bit of a curveball.
Yeah, throw it.
Now, we've seen the de-dollarization trade where because the U.S. kind of it's espousing more of an isolationist approach. You've seen central banks from all over the world start buying gold as opposed to hoarding U.S. dollars for their central reserves, right?
Yeah.
Let me ask you something. If that had not happened, if there wasn't that kind of cycling out of USD into gold, would Bitcoin have been more of an attractive asset for these central banks? Am I just hoping for something here?
No, I think that's a very valid point and a great question. Did it take away some of that rotation, that move into gold from that digital gold aspect in which we like to call it? I would have to say yes, because we know that, I shouldn't compare it to actual physical gold, but Bitcoin is just not an American-based asset. It's a global-based thing, right? Where it was typically bigger in Europe and in the Asian countries, where you started to see a little bit of a rotation, and you had China just hoarding essentially gold. So absolutely. And then now you have kind of the race to see who can be the largest holder of this digital asset, with Michael Saylor and what he's doing, and the states wanting to be a global leader as well. And you have the BlackRock ETF, the IBIT, in which we chair, the most successful ETF launch of all time, ever. Like of all time, ever, right? So, I mean, there has to be some weight behind this cause, and there might be. My issue with this is that we have no specific use case other than store value and the dwindling supply, right? We already know that some South American countries are using it as their actual currency. Now, if you have greater adoption of that, where you can physically pay for something using Bitcoin, I think then that's when you really see that that insane amount of growth within the underlying asset.
All right, see ya.
Yeah, just a quick update here that Pakistan is actively pushing for Iran and U.S. talks this week. This is coming from the New York Times. Again, just repeating that Pakistan is pushing for Iran-U.S. talks this week, coming from the New York Times. Let's move to our next story. JP Morgan, let's talk earnings. JP Morgan has delivered a strong Q1 beat with an EPS of 5.94 versus 5.45 estimated, which is a 9% increase, and revenue of $50.54 billion versus the $49.17 billion that was estimated, which is a 2.8% increase. Driven by the increasing strength in market-related businesses, net income has risen by 13% year over year to $16.49 billion, while total revenue has increased 10%. This shows continued operating leverage despite the macro uncertainty in the market at the moment. Now, fixed income trading revenue has surged 21% to $7.08 billion, and investment banking fees has jumped 28% to $2.88 billion. And the bank has also lowered its full year 2026 net interest income guidance to $103 billion from $104.5 billion. And this just in from Reuters that JPM has backed a Trump administration proposal to end mandatory quarterly reporting. CFO of the company, Jeremy Barnum, is supporting the efforts to ease regulatory burdens and bolster U.S. capital markets. Currently, JPM down 0.48%.
Okay, so I have a couple of points here that I want to point out. It was a great report, but let me be the person to rain on this parade. Net interest income. Okay, despite the beat for the current quarter, they did lower their full year NII, net interest income guidance, from $104.5 billion down to a light $103, and I'm exaggerating, obviously. It's indicating that the Goldilocks era of these higher rates could be officially cooling. Never really know. Let's see what the next quarter brings. The other one that I want to talk about, credit card normalization. So the report highlighted a significant rise in credit card revolving balances. That is balances that are being carried over month after month. That makes more money for the company, right? JPM, you're going to pay them more in income, or in interest income, that is. However, it's not good if you're looking at it from a broader based economic perspective. It's signaling the consumer may be finally exhausting their excess savings from previous years, and they're leaning more heavily on credit cards. So that's something that I don't think is JPM specific, but more of a macro take. That's just something to be aware of there. And then apparently there's also an investment banking issue here. So the total revenue was up for investment banking, which is fine, but it was kind of lopsided in that it was driven almost entirely by debt underwriting and M&A. Meaning what? Meaning that the actual IPO market that we were talking so much about in 2025 has kind of cooled down towards the tail end of last year and into early this year. So Has it really then recovered? Those are my takes from the report. Otherwise, I really don't have anything bad to say. This company's prints money.
Yeah, and that's what it does. Surprisingly so, Jamie Dimon slightly optimistic in it too, just stating some of the tailwinds within the economy, but also looking at some headwinds as he typically does, considering the war, the rising debt ceiling. So I mean, he's worried about that from a fiscal standpoint. What we have going on in JPM, I personally like the stock. It's going to continue to grow. Jamie Dimon is the right individual to have at the head of the office there, in my opinion. And you know what? This is one of the names that I'm not worried about because you have it growing at a substantial rate. You have 17% bank revenue growth, 7% here. Investment banking revenue jumped 19% to 23.38 billion, surpassing the 22.21 billion. So it's still growing, and I think Jamie Dimon, he hasn't even put the whole system on the blockchain yet, which the whole financial sector can become more efficient.
Talked about that, yeah.
Right? So it can become more efficient as well, too. So I really like what Jamie Dimon and company are doing, and I really like the American banking system. They're always going to come out on top. They have to. That's how America's going to succeed.
You know your friend Adam James Abroad is? He's on Bitcoin Beach in El Salvador.
Is he?
He is in El Salvador.
Is that what it's called?
I follow him on Instagram. I see where he's at. I don't know if they actually call it Bitcoin Beach. But shout out to my man, Adam James Abroad, dropping 2 in the chat.
What's he saying?
SNDK trying so hard to break through the control bar. That's hilarious. Well, MU is moving big. Micron is up 6 2/3, but SNDK is still negative on the day. Let's have a look at SNDK super quick here for the OG Adam. This is a great looking chart, man. It had a monster day yesterday. It needs to recover a little bit. It's knocking the door of that $1,000, Joey. It's down 1 1/4. That's fine. Let's take a look at the 5. Yeah, I see what you're saying there. It's kind of stair-stepping up, Adam. It looks like it had resistance at 925. Clears through 925 into 937, 940, and now it's using that 925 area support. So you're seeing a stair step up, but it looks like somebody was offloading, I should say, a storm right at the open. Not surprised, man. You make all-time highs the day prior. You have a green candle that looks like that with a low of 850 and a high 857 and a high of 989. You're going to have some people ringing the profit bell. And look at this, man. Look at the double bottom off the 50. Money. I didn't touch any of these memory names. I didn't make any money off any of these memory names, but that's okay. Can't make them all. All right, Sia, what are we talking about next?
WFC, Wells Fargo, mixed earnings, but let's take a look. Wells Fargo has posted a mixed Q1 results with an EPS of $1.60 versus the $1.58 estimated, but revenue of $21.45 billion missed by $340 million. Now, net interest income has come in at $10 billion, below expectations of 12.30, and consumer banking and lending has showed a solid momentum with revenue up 7% year over year to $10 billion. And commercial banking, on the other hand, has also moved up slightly to $3.12 billion. And corporate and investment banking has risen 4% to $5.28 billion. And wealth and investment management has gained 14% to $3.88 billion. Provision for credit losses has increased 21.8% year over year to $1.14 billion, but it's slightly still below expectations. But CET1 capital ratio has taken a hit and dipped 10.3% versus 10.6%, and leverage ratio has declined to 5.9%. Now this, to me, looks like there is some kind of balance sheet pressure, and WFC down 4.36% at the moment.
Yeah, I just want to let you guys know here, DKNG and PENN are going to be on watch. Not much of a move in either of these names, but keep an eye on the gambling space, seeing reports that Ohio is introducing a bill to increase taxes on sports gambling. Back to you.
Thank you very much for that, Adair. So the first thing here is the miss on the top line, obviously. So it suggests to me that they're able to shore up costs internally, and they have to be credited for that. But we also have to highlight the fact that they're having trouble generating that top line number. So they're, that they're missing on total revenue. So are they able to generate organic growth as quickly as the market had hoped in this sort of post-asset cap environment? We know that they had an asset cap placed upon them for that whole fraud thing, that they were, they were opening up illegal accounts or, accounts for their customers illegally without their customers having requested that. So that's the first thing that stood out to me there. Organic growth doesn't seem to be as strong, but they're also saying commercial lending. So the lifting of the asset cap last year, they did show a massive 23% year-over-year bump in the commercial and industrial loans, one of the highest margin products for loans that they have. They are clearly buying kind of market share back from the mid-sized banks. That's prioritizing volume over high margins right now. That's kind of what I look at there. And then there's also credit quality deterioration. So they're saying here, provisions for credit losses jumped 21.7% compared to last year. That missed expectations, so the street was looking for more. But the fact that you're having to allot more money to these loan loss provisions means that you can't keep them, that money that is, on the other side of the balance sheet. And that was something that we talked about with the Canadian banks. Remember, in 23 and 24, these Canadian banks kept increasing the amount of money they were allotting to loan loss provisions because they were thinking Canadians are going to have higher rates of default on mortgages. It didn't materialize in the way that they thought, but they had to protect themselves by putting that money there. And that money
TD
there.
get in a lot of trouble for that or something?
No, TD was doing something foul in the United States. TD was fine in Canada. Okay. But yeah, we didn't end up having nearly as many defaults as they were anticipating. But that money has to be earmarked for that provision, meaning that it can't be used elsewhere.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, yeah, it's unfortunate with this name. You're still down 15%, 15 and a quarter here on Wells Fargo. That asset cap is really the rain on the parade here today for Wells Fargo. The net interest income also missing on that slightly as well too, Sharif. So, I mean, even though the bank is getting bigger, it may not be getting better essentially. They did get the cap raised though, they did get the cap raise not too long ago, but it's still not enough. Essentially, net interest not looking too good. The quality of the credit being a major issue, and I think that's pretty justifiable why the stock's down 15 and a quarter.
All right, see ya.
We're talking about Bloom Energy. So Bloom Energy has surged on, expanded Oracle AI infrastructure deal. BE has rallied sharply with shares up 14% after hours and are added to a stronger prior session today, but the stock has gained 12.7%. This is all driven by an expansion in its partnership with Oracle. Now, Oracle will deploy up to 2.8 gigawatts of Bloom's fuel cell systems, which is a significant scale up that ties Bloom directly into AI data center power infrastructure demand. Personally, I love BE. I always talk about it when I'm going over my small cap segment. And Bloom has confirmed 1.2 gigawatts already contracted, with deployments that are already underway and additional capacity which is expected to roll out next year. So this deal reinforces a major market narrative, which is that AI infrastructure requires a massive, reliable, and fast deployable energy solution that traditional grids cannot fully support. Bloom's fuel cells are positioned as a solution for high-density AI workloads with systems that are designed to handle increasing power requirements and align with newer standards like the 800V DC architecture. And just to end it all off, Bloom is effectively becoming a back-end infrastructure provider for hyperscaler AI expansion, embedding itself in a long-term data center build-out. And currently, let's look at where BE is, up 21.6%.
Yeah, whatever, man. Yeah. Oh, yeah. All right. Yeah. No. You watch it, man. You watch it. I'm telling you.
Why do you want me to fail, bro?
Never, ever.
Why do you want me to fail?
Why would I say that? You know I like Bloom Energy. You were dumping on Netflix. I'm like, I like Netflix.
Yeah.
You were dumping on Netflix.
But I was right for a long time. I was. And then as soon as it showed me higher lows and higher highs.
So you like it? All right, man. Yeah. All right. I never, ever. The only stock that I was going against for you was stupid.
AEO.
Yeah,
well,
exactly.
that's fair. I mean, that was a bet.
Because it costs me money at the end of the day.
All right. So Joey and I have been talking about this for a long time. Bring your own power. BYOP. This is how it's going to have to be for the foreseeable futures for anybody who kind of wants to build data centers on scale. People, communities are not going to put up with you increasing their power and the utilities bill because you want to run AI data centers. So you're going to have to make sure that doesn't happen. How do you do that? You build your own power stations. Now, we've seen that come in many different forms, whether you're restarting a nuclear power plant like Microsoft is, or whether you're buying gas turbines like XAI and Elon are, or whether now you want to start buying fuel cells. This narrative is just one of multi-different kind of funnels all into the same AI power kind of stack or narrative. And so I like this, and it's fine. Constellation Energy was amazing. Caterpillar, because we talked about the generators, amazing. Bloom Energy is just another avenue to downtown. That's kind of what I'm thinking there. I like it. It's extended. I made some money on it.
Ooh.
We're going to take off a little bit here, Joey, because we want to know what the beak. If it retraces, fine.
Yeah.
If it goes, great. You can't catch the top and the bottom on everything,
Isn't Plug Power is the same size?
But Plug Power is just hot garbage.
It's hot garbage. But it's the same form of energy creation.
Yes, sir.
Exactly,
fuel
right?
cells.
So, exactly. So, as for Plug Power, not one of the better names, but I mean, Bloom Energy, man, we can't really complain about it. You need something that's going to power this build out. There's going to be a few names. We've seen it within the Caterpillars, as Sharif just mentioned. You can essentially build your own grid. You take these massive power plants, essentially, take them off grid, you build your own, you have the backlog of generators as well, too, within Caterpillar. But what was that next source going to be? And that's why I was looking at a name like New Scale Power, SMR, hasn't been performing. Plug Power was honestly on the brink of elimination, starting to rebuild itself with this AI build out. So essentially, Bloom Energy going to be a major beneficiary. We know that Oracle is going to have to spend throughout the wazoo to meet their RPOs, and they have to fuel this essentially, and it's going to be Bloom Energy going to be
well
part of
said.
it. So
well said. All right, Adair, give us your take on BE.
I want to talk a little bit about an element of this story that I don't think was mentioned in the note, and I think is really, really, really interesting. So here in the press release, I've just highlighted it. There's just this one line. It's all quaint. It's all casual until you look into it. On April 9th, 2026, Bloom issued the warrant to Oracle on terms previously announced on October 30th, 2025. They don't mention the warrant anywhere else in this press release. So I went through the filings. I read through this whole filing because I wanted to know a little bit more details. So on April 9th, as I know Sean mentioned this earlier as well, but I think it's really interesting, Oracle was issued a warrant to purchase up to 3.5 million shares of Bloom at $113.28. So again, we're well over $113.28 now. The total investment was $400 million. Again, that agreement struck in October of 2025. But of course, weirdly, this warrant is announced, again, struck on, or I guess made official here, granted, issued to Oracle on the 9th. This deal announced on the 13th sends these shares flying to the upside. As of this morning, when Bloom was only up 15%, Oracle had a $316 million paper gain. So more Oracle benefiting from, interesting practices. I just find the timing of the disclosure to be a little bit fascinating. I'm already expecting the comments of the chat. Adair is making fun of Oracle. Adair is hating on Oracle. No, I just think this is a really important thing to mention because I think it is worth noting the degree to which Oracle benefits financially from this deal, especially with the timing of the issuance of the warrants and then the disclosure of said warrants. Also, furthermore here, for ORCL from a technical standpoint, that 170 level, still a massive issue. Let me see if I can pull up. Actually, it's already up here. Look at that. So 170, we get to 170. Oracle does not want it. Now, it did the same thing on earnings, actually got a little bit higher on earnings day one, like 171.5 or so, and then pulled back. So it's interesting how stocks can be so high powered, that can be so high flying for 2 days straight, but sometimes technicals still overwhelm these fundamental catalysts. I just wanted to get into that a little bit. Back to you.
Very much for that. A great information. All right, Sia, what do we got?
NVO, Novo Nordisk is partnering with OpenAI to accelerate drug discovery. So the partnership reinforces the broader trend of pharma companies that are now integrating into AI to improve R&D efficiency and pipeline output. NVO is teaming up with OpenAI to leverage AI in analyzing complex data sets, identifying drug candidates, and accelerating the timeline from research to commercialization. And management has highlighted the ability to uncover patterns and test hypotheses at this point at scale, potentially shortening the traditionally long drug development cycle. And AI is expected to enhance multiple stages of development, especially early discovery in clinical trial design, where inefficiencies do remain significant. And you also have to keep in mind that NVO is doubling down on AI because it is competing with Eli Lilly in the high-growth obesity and diabetes market, where it has recently lost some first-mover advantage. Currently, NVO up by 3.4%.
Okay, so I love this catalyst, and it's one of the reasons I chose Thermo Fisher as one of my stocks. I haven't done well on it on the year, but that was one of the reasons, the justifications for getting into that name. I felt that one of the most underrated or yet to be realized stories of AI was going to be basically the shortening of the R&D window for these biotech, for these pharmaceutical companies. One of the reasons drug costs are so high is, well, yeah, they like to make profits. I'm not trying to get around that. But the fact of the matter is these R&D phases cost these biotech pharmaceutical companies, they cost them up several storms. And now you've got governments like President Trump insisting that these biotech companies give the United States citizens, Medicare and Medicaid, the most favored nation prices. You're likely going to see a corollary of that with other nations. They're going to pressure these drug companies to drop costs. Well, what the hell is that going to do to margins? It's going to eat into margins unless, of course, they're able to shore up costs from elsewhere. And that's what my thinking was here, that they were under pressure to drop prices, and as a result, they had to figure out some sort of technical efficiencies to be able to kind of maintain those margins. That's what I was thinking with this. It's nice to see it come to fruition. Obviously not well for Thermo Fisher, but for NVO. So this was one thing you and I talked about for a while. AI shortening the drug discovery window. Thoughts?
Yeah, I think so. But I also think that Novo Nordisk is kind of a one-trick pony at this point, to be honest with you. Sharif, you know that their battle with Eli Lilly just working. They want to make everything as efficient as possible. They had that feud with Hims and Hers going on as well. I just don't know how much this is going to impact the stock, to be honest with you. Outside of the GLPs, what do they have in the pipeline that I'm not aware of? You would probably have a little bit more of an idea. But the way that I'm looking at...
Quite frankly, it's Eli Lilly coming out with retatrutide. Everybody knows what Reta is in the bodybuilding community.
That's something
and it's not Novo, it's Eli Lilly. So I'm agreeing with you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it's just like, that's why I'm getting at the point that the fact that these guys are essentially a one-trick pony and other people are favoring what Eli Lilly has to offer right now.
I agree.
Now, we'll give them credit where it's due. They have the oral pill coming out as well.
So does Eli Lilly,
Eli Lilly's got it as well. So, I mean, the stock's down 73.6%. It's down for that reason because I don't think they have anything necessarily in the pipeline that is going to be going to have any form of an impact.
Yeah, the market's certainly not reacting to it.
Exactly. Yeah. So I don't think teaming up with Sam Altman to use ChatGPT's best feature or whatever it is going to change the narrative of this.
I like the macro. I get your point completely. Yeah. Novo specific maybe doesn't move the needle for them, but the industry as a whole is where I feel like we're really going to.
What does that mean for its competitors? Like, what do we just?
They're going to have the same issue too.
Is Eli Lilly's teaming up with Anthropic, aren't they? Rival, yeah, exactly. I mean, someone's teaming up with rival Anthropic, and different company. But someone there's other people working with Anthropic.
And so added Novartis right there. Added Anthropic, added Novartis, chief executive to its board. Yeah, there you go. So, okay, Sia, what do we got next?
Talking about J&G next. So J&J. Johnson & Johnson has reported a Q1 EPS of $2.70 versus a $2.64 estimated, with a revenue of $23.61 billion versus the $22.46 billion estimated, representing a 2.5% increase year over year. Growth. And I think this is a modest beat on both top and bottom lines. So the company has reaffirmed a full year guidance targeting $91.3 billion to $91.8 billion in sales and an $11.54 EPS midpoint. Now, pharmaceutical innovative medicine revenue has risen 4.7%, which is driven by oncology drugs like Darzalex and Carvykti, while medical devices have grown 4.6%. Key drugs has also seen a mixed performance, with Stelara declining 13% year over year due to upcoming patent pressures, while newer therapies like Tremfya and Spravato helped offset some weakness. What do you have to say about this, Sharif?
The fact that Stelara dropped 61.7% in sales due to a biosimilar competition. And so when you look at that overall figure of innovative medicine, right? Well, why was it not affected when their sales of Stelara, by the way, in case you're wondering what the hell Stelara is, it treats moderate to severe plaque psoriasis, psoriatic arthritis, as well as Crohn's disease, and ulcerative colitis by suppressing the overactive immune system. So it's an immunosuppressant. The point is, though, the reason that the innovative medicine section didn't really plunge off the cliff is because they had an almost 18% increase in their oncology. So that kind of helped move the needle a little bit, which I don't think is as a high of margin product. I don't know. J&J, let's take a look at the technicals, Joey. Let's take a quick look over here, see what this one's been looking like lately. Green Saber 005. Sharif, I worked for a company that did clinical trials. Fast-tracking side effects of drugs can become scary. Look, brother, I don't disagree with you at all, and I don't think any of us really want to get in or start taking a drug that hasn't been well studied, so I completely respect your opinion. I'm hoping AI is able to cut some of that. Now, just before we go to Adair, I know she's got news, but I wanted to tell you guys something. Like, look at this. This feels like an accumulation, and the reason I say that is you're seeing bottoming tails into the 50. So typically, when you're seeing a distribution, you're usually closing below a key technical area here on the daily. And here you're seeing a support of that 230 to 235 level with some bottoming tails. So this could be an accumulation for an eventual break through 250. Let's just pause, go to Adair for a second.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I have to let you guys know here about Zoom. ZM on watch with an interesting catalyst here. I'm seeing news that Anthropic is preparing for the release of its Opus 4.7 model. This is going to be an AI design tool that could be ready as soon as this week for release. That's being reported by The Information. Now, why am I mentioning Zoom here? As you can see, very slight pop in the stock. You get like a 30-penny pop here, but the reason Zoom is worth noting is because they do have an investment in Anthropic. They began investing in Anthropic actually in May of 2023, so they've been involved for almost 3 years now. Sometimes Zoom will pop an Anthropic-related news. Keep an eye on ZM, again, with that Anthropic model release impending.
All right, Joey, what do you think about J&J?
Sharif, I think the word of the day is a pretty simple one. I think we're going to have to go with pivot. Why? Because that's exactly what J&J did. They didn't just stick with the COVID vaccine like that one individual who's still in their high school mentality saying for like Pfizer and Moderna, essentially, right? You have the pharmaceuticals, you have the medical devices, and the cancer treatments essentially was helping drive J&J a little bit higher here. But the pivot is extremely key because you have Pfizers who can't get out of their own way and still talking about COVID-19 vaccines. That was a thing of the past. I mean, come on, you got to move on to something else, and J&J did exactly that.
Fair enough. Adira?
There's another element to this Anthropic story that I think is worth noting. Adobe and Figma both dropping pretty sharply here. Again, The Information reporting that Anthropic's going to be releasing this new Claude 4.7 Opus model, which includes a design tool, as I mentioned. So this tool is going to be letting users build presentations, websites, landing pages. It's literally, you know, what Figma and Adobe do. So again, Opus 4.7, this new Anthropic model, could be a direct competition with ADBE and FIG. FIG at intraday lows, ADBE near intraday lows. Back to you.
Looking at that, Joey?
What's that, my boy?
What does that say right there?
Which one?
That orange one.
Oh, yeah, I don't use Claude.
I had no choice.
Yeah.
Because Claude Computer, or Claude, what is it called? Claude Cowork, sorry, it's Perplexity Computer. Claude Cowork is the one that we're using on the floor here. So your boy had no choice.
It's the best.
I haven't even used it yet, but everybody keeps singing the praise of this Opus. Well, I've got Sonnet here, Opus 4.6, and there's Sonnet 4.6. Efficient for everyday tasks, most capable for ambitious work. I'm an ambitious guy, man. I'm gonna have to switch
It's the best thing, my boy. You almost got me reading another app.
All right, man. We're about 10 seconds from ending the show. Thank you, Sia. I know we didn't get to go through all of them. I appreciate you. Sia killed it as well. Derek killed it as well. Thank you guys so much. We are going to send you off to the big boys in 2 seconds because it is now officially. You want 30 seconds?
For what?
What do you need, Neil?
Bro, you guys were done every day, 10:59. Bye, Jody. Have a good one.
Yeah, they need to collect their thoughts.
But you guys had 3 hours to do that.
That's okay. No, don't use thoughts.
You guys just had 3 hours to do that, man. We'll give you all the time, man. We're kind.
Nah, because we're doing a bit of a different format now. We got the Katina man. He's going to be on the big board today. They're going to be going through the trade of the day. we got to send it to Neil, and they do their little back and forth. So
Hold on.
What happened,
We
Joe?
should do a poll here. What the trade of the day is going to be here with Katina, man. You had a couple of ones.
he had
but-
a couple. Well, he had the futures.
Yeah,
we
well,
know about that.
There it is. My bottom dollar's on
What do
the
you have,
on the
Tesla?
the T triple Qs. No, he
Okay.
didn't have Tesla
He didn't have
today.
Tesla,
He had
okay.
AMD.
He had AMD.
He had NVDA.
NVDA.
Yeah.
I'm going to say it's either going to be NVDA or the triple Qs.
It's easily the T triple Qs.
Booyah. He said booyah, so I don't know. Oh, was that to her? Okay.
Oh, we're
okay,
setting
all
up. So we'll see. We'll find out momentarily. Whenever the boys, I don't know if they're ready just yet.
I think,
We're gonna let them
I
get
think
the screen.
Friend Neil might be. Should we send or no?
You're
Assassino?
to
Yes,
NY.
okay,
You
okay.
already lost. Your money is on Sean shorting the T triple Qs. Bro's been long the whole day.
My guy, the triple Qs are up 1 2/3.
What are you talking about?
What are you?
2NY?
He's pulling your leg, bro.
Yeah, he
doesn't
has to be
actually
pulling
mean
my
that,
leg.
right? All right, guys. For Joey and I, we'll see everybody same bat time,
Hey.
same bat channel. Neil, is that away?
What up? I feel you should be